2 weeks ago in the regionals, the Whitehall Rams took their first step down the road to the Division II championship. Trailing Eastmore 7-0 in the fourth quarter, Brian Jones and company came back.
Soma is wide in the bottom of the screen. That's Bricky wide at the top. Martin's in the slot. Overton and Johnson in the backfield. Jones rows. Martin is wide open. No one there. Brett Martin, touchdown.
Then with less than 2 minutes left to play, Jim Carter sent the Rams to the semifinals.
1:42 left to go. 4th and 8 situation. A field goal attempt of 34 yards by Jim Carter. There's the snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. The kick is good from 34 yards out by Jim Carter. And now the Whitehall Rams take a 10-7 lead.
The next week at Dayton's Welcome Stadium, the Rams were hoping that the ghosts of playoffs past would not haunt them. In 1981, bad weather and power problems made a defeat even more painful. But this year, the Rams would do better against the Knights of Kettering-Alter.
Here we go, 2nd and goal from the 2. Near 9 minutes left to go, second period. The handoff, up and over is Pat Johnson. A touchdown, the Rams. Exactly 9 minutes left to go here in the second period.
Johnson scored a second time before the half, and teammate Don Overton also ran well, scoring from 6 yards out. And the defense also played well, holding on several crucial 4th and short situations. And what had seemed a long shot at the beginning of the season was now an attainable goal.
We're under 10 seconds left to go. We're down to 5 seconds left to go. The Rams will move to 12-0 on the season. They will be going to the state championship game. It's all over. The Whitehall Rams 12-0 on the season. Win by a score of 21-7, and they're going to the state finals.
And now they hope their last button is prophetic as they battle the Big Red of Steubenville for the state title.
Coaxio Communications presents High School Football 84. Today from Ohio Stadium is the Division II State Championship game between the Big Red of Steubenville and the Whitehall Rams. Welcome to high school football here on Coaxio Communications. I'm Randy Reinhardt along with Coach Jim Anderson, and well, we finally made it to the state championship game. Whitehall comes in 12-0 on the season. The Big Red of Steubenville 12-0 on the season. And Coach, on paper, these two teams match up about as close as you can possibly get two teams to match.
They certainly do, and not just with their wins and losses, but with their tremendous defense. Both teams have held the opponents to somewhere around 60 to 90 points, and that shows great defense over a 12-game period. When you look at the offense, Whitehall's had the offense when they've needed it. We've seen that in about 4 or 5 ball games. So they can move the football, no doubt about it. They're very well disciplined, very much disciplined. When they need those points, they'll put on a drive and sustain it, use up the clock, get their points. Steubenville must score quickly. They put a lot of points on the board. One of their runners, who's supposed to be their third running back today, at least he's not listed to start, has racked up over 1,100 yards. So they have tremendous offense too.
They really do. Lucas, who Coach was talking about, has racked up 1,077 yards, yet he will not be starting at today's game. Look for him, though, to play some later on in the first half. Well, earlier this week, I had a chance to talk to both coaches, Reno Saccoccia from Steubenville High School, and earlier I talked to Jeff Jones at Whitehall.
Coach, 2 weeks ago against Eastmore, you seemed to have a little problem running the ball, went to the pass with Brian Jones. Last weekend, in your game against Kettering-Alter, looked like the offensive line really controlled the line of scrimmage, and Johnson and Overton had a big game.
Well, we thought we did a tremendous job. No one had run the ball against Kettering very well, at least in the films that we saw, and I thought our offensive line had a tremendous game. They opened up huge holes, and we were able to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Darren Justice and the entire defense had a good game also. 4th and short situation a couple times in the second half, and they were able to hold.
Well, we did the job when we had to. I thought we took them out of their passing attack. They did scramble a little bit against us, but overall we had a tremendous game.
Coach, what do you know about Big Red?
They're 12-0. They're a tremendous football team. They're probably maybe a 2-touchdown favorite against us. They run multiple formations on offense. They have 2 real good runners in Young and I forget their other back's name right now. Their defense is just tremendous, and we're going to have to play our best game of the year to win Friday afternoon.
Offensively, what can we look for the Rams to do?
Well, hopefully we're going to be able to move the ball against them. No one has done that so far. They really have shut people down. We're going to try to run the ball and pass it and mix it up like we usually do.
Any special plans if after 48 minutes you find yourself on top?
Just enjoy it. It's been a long season since August 1st. We've been talking as coaches. We've been going 7 days a week since August the 1st, and the kids have been working real hard, and win, lose, or tie, whatever, we're just very pleased with this year. It's been a great year for Whitehall football.
Coach, Big Red comes in 12-0 on the season. Key so far this season for Big Red to this point to make it to the state finals?
I think that we recovered from a lot of injuries that we had early in the year. Since the playoffs began, we've been a healthy team, playing together, and I think that we're hungry enough to come up a winner.
So far this season, you've had 8 shutouts on the season. Only 4 teams have scored on you. When you look at that, is there only one game this season, if I'm not mistaken, where you really had to come from behind, and that was a Wintersville game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Wintersville, they're in the next town over, got up on us 14-0 in the first quarter, and the kids, dug down deep, and at the end, we always have to remember a game is 4 quarters, and whoever's winning at the end of the fourth quarter is a winner, and we pulled it out at the end.
What challenge do the Rams present for you this afternoon?
The biggest challenge they present is their balanced attack. When you look at the stats, it doesn't look very balanced, but all 3 people are capable of gaining yardage on you, and you can't just go after one person. But at the same time, thinking that you can't go after one person, you definitely have to stop the fullback because he sets up their offense.
And on paper, it does look like a power matchup between 2 power teams coming into the state championship.
Well, I think when you get this far, it doesn't matter what type of offense or defense you have. You think of yourself as being strong, and I think that physically they're a little bit stronger than us, and physically I think we're a little bit quicker than they are. I think once the playoffs come into being, it's from the shoulders up. Whoever's mentally prepared and mentally tough is going to win the game.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
The stage is set. You've met the coaches. Jim Anderson and I will be back for the Division II state championship game between Steubenville and Whitehall in just a moment. You're watching High School Football 84 on Coaxial Communications. Welcome to Ohio Stadium, the kickoff for today's Division II championship game. Returning the ball out to the 28-yard line for Big Red of Steubenville is number 44, Steve Lucas. The Rams kicked off. Big Red has the ball, 1st and 10 now from their own 28-yard line. Let's take a look at their offense. Looks something like this across the front. The split end, number 7, Julius Shackelford. The front line looks like this. It's Keenan, Andreen, Tamucci, Mamula, Smith. The tight end is Morrison. The flanker is Murray. In the backfield, Steve Nodianis with Brian Young and Todd Kelly. 1st and 10, the ball at the 28-yard line. Nodianis is going back to throw, rolls to the bottom of the screen, and he's brought down from behind. Brought down, tackle made on the play by number 86, Jim Soma.
That was a great open field play. Very fine coverage on the outside. They have to keep the quarterback to the inside. If they do, and the running backs, I think they'll have a successful defense.
Let's take a look at the Ram defense right now. They'll play a 4-3 as they have all season. Up front, it's Soma, Draper, Fraley, and Justice. The linebackers, Glenn, Coulter, and Evans. The deep backs, Matevsky, Todd, Phillips, and Stewart. A loss on that play of 8 yards, make it a 2nd and 18 now. The ball on the 21-yard line. 11 minutes exactly left to go here in the first period. Nodianis going back to throw. Pressure is on, and he's brought down at the 10-yard line. In on the tackle, number 73, 6'5", 220, Dave Draper.
That was a great rush. They have to put a great deal of pressure on him.
Take a look one more time now. Coach, from ground level, Draper in there, grabs him by the foot and just brings him to the turf. Does not let Nodianis get free. A loss now of another 8 yards. Check that, another 11 yards. Make it a 3rd and 29 now with the ball on the 10-yard line. To the top of the screen, that's number 14, John Murray. In motion now to the bottom of the screen. The back split in the backfield. The handoff goes to Lucas. Lucas across the 15. Lucas across the 20. Room to the 25 to the 30, and he's brought down at the 34-yard line. But he will still be about 5 yards short of a first down.
That was a great running play. I was surprised to see them go into that. I thought they might put the ball in the air, but it was just as good. They used the draw, and Lucas did a great job running.
Lucas on the play picks up about 23 yards, but they'll still be about 5 yards short of a first down. So staying into the game to punt right now, number 41, Brian Young. High driving punt. That's Rhett Martin at his own 35. Up to the 40-yard line, and that's where the Rams will start
First and 10. We talked about Lucas. We didn't think he would start, but he did come in. He's rushed for 1,077 yards on the season. 31 yards on that punt. Coach, let's take a look at the starting offense very fast for the Whitehall Rams. Up front, it looks something like this. It's Soma, Cooper, Coulter, Harris, Glenn, Draper, the split end, Tom Matevsky. In the backfield, the quarterback number 14, Brian Jones. The fullback number 26, Pat Johnson. The tailback number 46, Don Overton. And the wingback number 22, Rhett Martin. First and 10. Jones hands off inside to number 26, Pat Johnson. Gets it up across the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
Well, they picked up 2. They're going to have to do a little bit better than that, but that's a start.
The Big Red defense looks something like this. They'll play a 4-4 across the front. It's Johnson, Keenan, Downard, and Morrison. The linebackers, Barron, Young, Gorman, and Jones. The deep backs, Biazzi, McGee, and number 9, Dan Wise. 2nd and 8. The pitch goes to the tailback, Don Overton. Overton brought down at the 43-yard line. A gain of only 1 on that play. Make it a 3rd and 7 now for the Rams with 9:10 and running here in the first period.
The Big Red have a tough defense. They swarm. That pursuit on that particular play was just tremendous. They had 7 men chasing the ball. They had the ball contained very nicely for that 1-yard gain.
Brian Young from his inside linebacker position comes in to make the tackle. 3rd and 7. Wide to the top of the screen. That's Rhett Martin. Jones rolls. He looks. The pass is incomplete. Looking at the bottom of the screen for number 85 for the Rams, Mike Ukieri. The pass is incomplete. So now with a 4th and 7, Jones will stay in to punt for the Rams.
The Big Red play that defense very, very tightly. The linebackers pretty close. They don't get off too far, and yet they get very nice pursuit angles. The line moves very quickly in lateral direction.
Jones on the season averaging a little over 37 yards per punt. Fine punt by Jones. And knocked out of bounds is Joe Biazzi just around the 21-yard line. And they mark him officially out of bounds. It looks like at the 19-yard line. So that's where Big Red will take over. 1st and 10 with 8:34 left to go here in the first period. No score. Division II state championship action here on Coaxial Communications. 38 yards on that punt for Brian Jones, so he stays right around his average.
Yeah, Bukieri had nice coverage on it. He was the man responsible for putting it out of bounds.
That's Murray wide to the bottom of the screen. The backs in an eye. Nodianis passed for over 1,100 yards on the season. Brings him up 1st and 10. The handoff this time goes inside across the 20 to about the 21-yard line is Todd Kelly.
Well, he didn't get the block he needed on the outside. The Rams were there to meet the play.
Kelly on the season has rushed for over 700 yards. We were talking about Lucas. Lucas has rushed for about 1,077, and Young has rushed for about 520 yards. You add Nodianis into that, Coach. He's rushed for over 210 yards himself. A gain of 2 on the play. Let's make it a 2nd and 8. 8 minutes left to go here in the first period. Murray in motion to the bottom of the screen. The handoff inside goes to number 41, Brian Young.
Darren Justice was in the middle of that as he was in the last play. He's a tremendous defender for the Rams.
Justice played such a big role last week, Coach. Alder trying to come back late in that game when they were down to the Rams about 21-7. He forced Personale out of the pocket. The quarterback of the Kettering Alder Knights forced him out of the pocket several times. Also on a key 4th and short situation, forced the runner to go a little wider, and the pursuit was there for the Rams in the person of Stacey Evans. They held the Knights, and the Rams went on to win last week by a score of 21-7. 3rd and 5. The pitch to the top of the screen and brought down right around the 25-yard line is number 23, Todd Kelly.
Thus far, this has been a tremendous defensive effort by both ball teams. I can see why not too many people scored on either one of them.
Well, we talked about it in the top of the show with both coaches. This is power versus power. Reno Saccoccia talked about it in the top of the program, too. When you get this far along, you've got to be doing something right. These teams have proven it so far.
You betcha.
Punt is partially blocked in the play, and it's rolling out across midfield and out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
They went after it. 4 of them were in on that punt.
Brian Young trying to punt. Gets off just a 26-yard punt. The Rams now take over in excellent field position. First break of the game for the Rams. 1st and 10 from their own 49.
He wasn't any more than an inch or 2 away of not getting anything on that punt.
Coming up to the line of scrimmage, that's Rhett Martin to the top of the screen. The backs are split. The pitch to the bottom of the screen to Don Overton across midfield. Overton bowling his way across the 45. And coach, if he could have gotten by him, he had the entire sideline, 45 yards to the goal line.
Yeah, it didn't look like the Big Red defense were looking for the quick pitch to the outside on that occasion.
Well, on that particular occasion, they had Johnson going in motion to the top of the screen, and the floor of the defense moved to the top of the screen. Then they pitched to Overton coming towards you, and Overton had lots of room, picked up 7 yards on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 3, 6:40 and running, first period. Martin's in the slot, the handoff to the up back. That's the fullback, number 26, Pat Johnson. Johnson gets it down to about the 44-yard line. Give him a gain of just about 1 on the play. Let's make it a 3rd and 2.
It's going to be tough, I think, to run on the Big Red inside. They're a good defensive football team, no doubt about it. They really know how to move. They move quickly on the ball.
First break in action we get will recap how these two teams have made it to the state championship. Here we go, 3rd and 2. Jones to the top of the screen. He's looking, the pressure's on. He's brought down a fumble on the play, and it looks like Big Red has recovered, and they have. At their own 43-yard line, coming up with the ball, number 41, Brian Young. We talked about both teams. They have so many two-way players. Brian Young is another one.
Well, the Rams had an opportunity there, but that very short punt, partially blocked punt, and they didn't do too much with it, come up with a fumble. The Big Red now has the opportunity. See what they can do with it.
They take over 1st and 10 on the 43, 5:55 left to go in the first period. Murray wide to the bottom of the screen. The back's in an eye, and flags on the field. Jumping for Whitehall, number 54, Darren Justice, but let's see if he was pulled offside. And the penalty does go against Big Red. Let's take a look at the officials for today's game. The referee is Sam Fanstow. The umpire is Dick Zink. The linesman is Tom Houston. The line judge is Fred Church. And the back judge is Bob Norman. A legal procedure, the call against Big Red. Move them back 5 more yards. Let's make it a 1st and 15 now. The ball on the 38-yard line.
Darren Justice isn't likely to miss an opportunity like that when he made the most of it.
He's played the last 6 quarters just about as well as you possibly can play on defense. Making his way up to about the 42-yard line is number 44, Steve Lucas. He's brought down on the play by Stacy Evans from his outside linebacker position. On the play, give them a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Let's make it a 2nd and 10 now for Big Red of Steubenville.
That was a tailback stutter play, very similar to a draw play where the tailback waits for the handoff. Quarterback comes back to the tailback to the handoff.
Murray is wide on the top of the screen. The handoff goes to Lucas. Lucas is met right there. Taken over the shoulder of number 50 on the play for the Whitehall Rams. Kenny Glenn was waiting for him.
That was a nice tackle he made on that play. Very nice.
Kenny Glenn waiting for him, and give him a gain of just about 3 on the play. Let's make it a 3rd and 7 with 4:44 and running in first period. No score. Glad to have you for the Division II state championship game, Whitehall and Steubenville. Wide to the bottom of the screen is Julius Shackelford. That's Murray to the top of the screen. The backs are split. Murray in motion now. Nodianis calling signals. Goes back to throw. Twins now to the bottom of the screen. He's looking. He's rolling. He has room. The pass is incomplete. In and out of the arms of number 23, Todd Kelly.
That was almost a very, very fine reception by Kelly. He got a good hand on it, but he couldn't bring it in.
Pass is incomplete. That'll bring up a 4th and 7 situation now from just about the 45-yard line. So coming on to punt one more time is Brian Young, who's had one good punt and one not so good punt so far in the season. He's averaging 34 yards a kick. Back deep for the Rams, number 11, Tom Mateski, and number 22, Rhett Martin.
Well, he got it away.
And we have a flag down on the play. Mateski fields at the 24-yard line. He's got room to the bottom of the screen to the 30, but the pursuit is there, and he's knocked out of bounds just around the 31-yard line, tackled on the play by number 11, James Barron. Let's check out that penalty flag. 31 yards on that punt by Young.
That was a very early flag. I can't imagine what it was. It had to be something up here, the line of scrimmage.
We'll check that call out in just a moment. We'd like to remind everyone, both of these teams come in 12-0 on the season, the only game of the state championship games, Coach, that features two undefeated teams. And earlier today, we'd like to mention that Newark Catholic defeated Middletown Fenwick by a score of 14-6.
Well, we've watched two defenses displayed here that show that the reason why they're both 12-0. They have very fine defense football teams.
Two penalties called on the play against the Rams. Let's take a look at that Big Red schedule you were talking about it, Coach, as you check out the penalty infraction down on the field. They beat Youngstown Rayen 27-0, East Liverpool 24-0. They've played a Columbus team this season. They played Marion Franklin, beat them 34-0. They beat Dover 27-16. They beat DeVillibus 26-0. They beat Cambridge 27-0. Wintersville, they beat 28-26. They were losing 14-0 halfway through the second quarter, came back to win that game. They beat Bel Air 24-0. They beat Youngstown East 31-0. They beat Steubenville Catholic Central 12-7 in the regionals. They beat Youngstown Ursuline 8-0, and they came back last week and they beat Westlake by a score of 26-6. Illegal participation, the penalty flag call on the Rams, very costly because now Big Red has a first down at the 40-yard line. The pitch gogoes back to number 23, Todd Kelly, and a beautiful play. He also slipped down in that play as he tried to turn the corner, Coach.
His lead blocker got nailed beautifully, and that's why he slipped. I think he was helped down.
Interesting that they've played Marion Franklin already this season. We talked about offense and defense. They've scored nearly 25 points a game. Their defense has given up less than a touchdown a game, just around 4.5 a game. Second and 11, a loss of 1 on the play. Handoff inside, a gain of about 1 yard on the play, takes it down to about the 39-yard line. That'll make it a gain of 2, actually. Let's call it a 3rd and 9 situation, as carrying that time was Todd Kelly. He picks up 2. 3rd and 9 with a little over 3:15 left to go in the first period.
Neither defensive squad is giving the offense too much room to run that football.
Coming out to the bottom of the screen now, we have twins in Shackelford and Murray. Out wide to the bottom of the screen. Murray now in motion to the top of the screen. Back split in the backfield. Nodianis goes back to throw. He has plenty of room at the bottom of the screen. He looks. The pass is it intercepted or not?
Yes, it is.
Stacey Evans with the interception. A big break for the Rams, and they take over 1st and 10. Now they're calling it off. Check that, Coach. I think they're going to say it hit the turf. And I think they might say it hit the turf now, and they'll call that pass incomplete. I'd like to see a replay on that one.
I'd like to see it too, because if he trapped it, he did a beautiful job of it.
Nodianis throwing into the teeth of that defense. If you take a look one more time at that play, he's got room if he decides to run to the bottom of the screen, throws it into the teeth of that, and it's very hard to tell with the camera still in motion.
I didn't see any trap pass. He had room to catch that ball.
They snap it to the up back. And getting down across the 30 to the 28-yard line with enough for the first down is Joe Johnson.
That was a great time to call that. Of course, they didn't need to punt. They had decent field position if they'd have turned the ball over on that play.
Joe Johnson gets it down to, they mark it just inside the 29-yard line. And a first down for the for Steubenville Big Red, as the Whitehall Rams call a timeout, the first timeout taken so far here in the first half. Coach Jeff Jones out on the field now, disputing that call right now, I think, talking to the referee, Sam Fanstow. Jeff Jones, we might mention, is the AP Central District Coach of the Year. That just came out this week, Coach. By virtue of the fact his Rams went 12-0 on the season. You see him out there talking.
Well, he certainly earned it. He certainly earned it. He's done a marvelous job.
Like to add that Eastmore landed 2 of the prime class AAA positions, as Alec O'Connell and Everett Ross were also named to that team, along with, guess who? Dublin's Vince Workman, and Bob Toy was the lineman of the year in AA.
4 very fine football players that should go to a pretty big school if they cared to.
We talked about the Rams 12-0 on the season. They beat Reynoldsburg 14-6. They beat East 20-0. The next week on Coaxio Communications, you saw them beat Groveport in a rainy game 14-6. Then they took on Mount Vernon, handled them easily 24-6. Then the only team to score more than one touchdown, Delaware, they beat them 35-20. They beat Franklin Heights 14-0. They beat Pickerington on coax 10-7. Westerville North 10-3. Chillicothe 20-7. Hilliard 19-8. Eastmore 10-7, and Kettering Alder last weekend 21-7. The handoff inside goes to number 41, Brian Young, and Young is going nowhere fast.
All they were waiting for him was just a simple dive play. Linebacker came in, filled the hole, and the down lineman made the play very nicely on that.
Great pressure up front by the Rams. Young is lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. We'll make it a 2nd and 10, and there's a good luck Big Red sign. One of the planes flying high. We couldn't have better weather conditions. It could be 20 degrees warmer, but then again, we could all be in Florida right now, right? 2 minutes left to go here in the first period. No score. Glad to have you here on Channel 16. Nodianis hands off to the up back, and working his way all the way down to the 22-yard line is number 41, and that's Brian Young.
Well, that was a ride to the fullback, and he did a nice job carrying it. It was going to be an option on the end of it, but the hole was there, so he kept.
And we'll take a look at a replay right now as we have an injured member of the Steubenville Big Red team down on the field. As you see, Young driving down to the 22-yard line. We'll wait till we can check out his number before we identify him for you. Well, we hope you're enjoying tonight's game, whether you're watching it at 8 p.m. Friday, 8 p.m. Saturday, or 8 p.m. Sunday. You'll see the best in high school sports right here on Coaxial Communications Channel 16. And a reminder that cablecast rights for tonight's game are granted by the Ohio High School Athletic Association to Coaxial Communications. Any retelecast or retransmission without the consent of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and Coaxial Communications is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by Coaxial Communications. And down on that play is the gentleman who was running, number 41, Brian Young. And Young now to his feet and coming off the field.
Randy, the Big Red have controlled the football for most of this first quarter. The Rams have to stop this drive to get their hands on it again if they hope to put any points on the board.
1:49 left in the first period. Unofficially yards rushing, Big Red 39, the Rams 11 yards. Total yards, that's it. No passing yards for either team, 39-11. Here we go. 3rd and 3. And getting down to about the 20-yard line is number 33, and that is Joe Johnson, who also plays on the defensive line. He's going to take it down to just about the 20-yard line. He'll be a yard short, so they'll make it a 4th and 1. A little under 90 seconds left to go here in the first period.
If they had a big foot, they might be using him in this situation.
Well, they have kicked 2 field goals on the season. Mike Coursey has kicked 2 of 2. His longest, though, is only 26 yards. You'd be asking him to kick a 37-yarder right here. Penalty flags fly, and it looks like it'll be either a delay of game or we've seen a lot of times, Coach, where we've seen people line up in the neutral zone. So let's check out that call. It's a legal procedure. I think someone lined up perhaps a little offside. It's a legal procedure. Move it back 5. That'll make it now a 4th and 6 situation with the ball back at the 25-yard line.
The Rams can't be too unhappy about that one. That's a horrible time to have a procedure foul go against you.
But, Coach, you're still in 4-down territory.
Oh, yes, surely. They're in the just past 25-yard line.
Here we go. 4th and just about 6 yards to go. Wide at the bottom of the screen is Shackelford. In motion is Young to the top of the screen. The pitch to the top of the screen, and he's not going to make it, is number 23, Todd Kelly. And Kelly is brought down just around the 25-yard line. Among others there on the play, number 50, Kenny Glenn.
But the one who made the play was Jim Todd. Jim Todd made the play. He didn't make the tackle. He destroyed the lead blocker, and that destroyed the play.
And we talked about
defensive play.
These 2 teams earlier this season. Coach, we have to be honest, we haven't had a chance to see Big Red, but the Rams so far this season have been a bend but do not break team. And once again, they bend, but they didn't break. 1st and 10, the ball on the 25. The pitch goes to Overton to the bottom of the screen. Overton stacked up just around the 27-yard line. The pursuit is there again. Give him a gain of 2 on the play. Make it a 2nd and 8.
He was a little undecided on running that play. He had an opportunity to gain a few more yards more.
We're down to 10 seconds left to go in the first period. A lot of action, a lot of excitement so far
We have no score. The interesting thing will be, let's see if the Whitehall Rams decide to air it out in the second quarter. As we've ended one quarter, the score, Steubenville nothing, Whitehall nothing. You're watching the championship game of Division II right here on Coaxio Communications. Welcome back to the start of the second quarter. Whitehall nothing, Steubenville nothing. Glad to have you here on Channel 16. The Rams come up to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 8. The ball on their own 27. Martin's in the slot. Wide to the bottom of the screen is Bucchieri. Johnson rolls, plenty of room. 30, 35, 40, 45. Brought down at the 47-yard line is Brian Jones. Tackle made on the play by number 9, Dan Wise.
And that's the man that Rhett Martin was blocking for some time there. He just couldn't sustain the block long enough. Johnson got there quickly, but not quick enough.
Once again, the Rams will shuttle in wide receivers coming into the game now. Number 10, Darren Brickey with a play from Jeff Jones. 1st and 10 now. The ball on the 47-yard line. The handoff goes inside to Pat Johnson. Johnson's lucky to get it up to just about the 49-yard line. We'll give him a generous gain of 2 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 8.
I don't think you're going to pound that line continuously without getting hurt because the Big Red Swarm, they move beautifully. I've been watching every down, and they move beautifully at the snap of the ball.
2nd and 8, the ball from the 49-yard line. That's Martin wide to the bottom of the screen. Jones rolls to the top. The pressure is there, and he is brought down. I'll tell you who made that play. Coming through, number 22, Joe Jones. Overton trying to block on Joe Jones, and Brian Jones ran right into Joe Jones.
That was a beautiful defensive play. You can't sustain the block on these young men very long. They get off the blocks very quickly. They have to work very hard on that because they do it very nicely. They shed the blocks.
Stats through one quarter we'll take a look at in just a moment. 3rd and 9 now. Move the ball back to the 48-yard line. Jones loses the handle again. It's still free on the field, and it looks like Big Red has recovered. They have, in the person of number 33, Joe Johnson, recovers the ball at the 37-yard line.
Well, the Big Red gets another break. See what they can do with it this time.
So another break for Steubenville as they take over now. 1st and 10 on the Ram 37-yard line. 10:20 left to go in the second period. As you take a look one more time from ground level, Jones lost that just about from the point that he got the handoff from Harris. And Johnson comes up with the recovery. We're back to live action. Working his way all the way down to the 31-yard line is number 23, Todd Kelly. Give Kelly a gain of about 6 on the play. Make it 2nd and 4, Coach.
He worked hard for the 6. He earned every bit of it.
Stats through one period look like this. Big Red 2 first downs, Rams none. Rushing yardage. Big Red 41, Rams 13. No passing yards. 2 penalties against the Rams for 20 yards. 1 against Big Red for 5 yards. The handoff again goes to Kelly. Kelly's down to just about the 29-yard line. He'll be about a yard and a half short of a first down. Punting in the first period. 1 punt for the Rams for 38 yards. Big Red 3 punts for a 29-yard average. Plays in the first quarter, Coach. This will be very interesting. You take a look at this. Big Red has run 16 plays in the first quarter to just 7 for the Whitehall Rams. Lucas, the leading rusher in the game, with 30 yards. 3rd and a little over 1. The ball around the 29 and not getting the first down is number 41, Brian Young. He was met in the interior of the line, and it's going to be about a 4th and 2 situation now for Big Red. And we have an official's timeout on the field now. They're spotting the ball just around the 28-yard line, and they want to measure from here. It looks like it's at least 3/4 of a yard to a yard short. But
I didn't think he made an inch on the play. I thought, as a matter of fact, that he might have lost.
We'll let them prove us right. What do you say? And there it is. That's a good yard short of a first down. So with 8:57 left to go here in the second period, the Rams have held so far. Big Red has a 4th and 1 situation.
That pair, by the way, to mention that again, of Jim Todd and Darren Justice. The pair of Darren Justice and Jim Todd are doing an excellent job on that right corner.
Fred Wise now to the top of the screen. Murray to the bottom of the screen. 4th and a little over 1. The handoff, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage
brought down, number 23, Todd Kelly, by 72. The best middle linebacker that Jeff Jones said he has ever coached, Todd Coulter.
That was a tremendous job, just a tremendous defensive effort by the Rams. There they stymied the Big Red twice.
I've got to ask a question.
May become
I was just going to say, how much elasticity does a rubber band have here? Because once again, they have bent, but they did not break. First and 10, the ball on the 32-yard line. The Rams take over. The handoff goes to Don Overton. Overton gets it up to about the 33. Give him a gain of 1 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 9.
These are two great teams to watch. We should expect a game like this.
Well, we talked about the great play of Todd Coulter all season, and there you see why, right there, why he is the best middle linebacker that Jeff Jones has ever coached. 2nd and 9. Now we come back to live action. The backs in an eye. Soma to the top of the screen. The handoff goes to Overton across the 35, out to the 39, bowling his way across the 40, all the way to the 42-yard line. I thought they might blow that dead a little earlier, Coach, but I think they'll give him his momentum out to about the 41-yard line.
He was never stopped. His feet were still driving. He was making progress. He was moving forward. He was never stopped.
And it could be close enough to measure as the chain gang, who didn't have much work in the first period, getting a workout here in the second period. Well, we'd like to thank all the people who wrote in this week to High School Football 84. We'd like to recognize a couple of them. Walter Sparks, an official who enjoys watching the games. He said he really enjoys working on the games. He comes home, he doesn't want to watch a professional game, and he enjoys watching high school football. As you take a look one more time at Overton, Coach, you said he was not stopped. He keeps working. You see, you're absolutely right. His legs keep churning. We come back to live action. The pitch goes to the bottom of the screen to Overton again. This time he gets out to about the 45-yard line, a gain of about 4 more in the play. Let's make it 2nd and 6.
He used the straight arm very nicely then, very effectively.
One other person who wrote in this week we'd like to thank is Sheila Tompus, the president of the Whitehall Instrumental Music Boosters Association. And we'd like to thank the countless phone calls that we received this week. They stopped with about 50 stick figures, I think. Here we go. 2nd and 6. The handoff inside goes to Pat Johnson. Johnson gets it up to the 47. He gains 2 more. He's going to set up a 3rd and 4 for the Rams.
Yeah, this is a critical down now for the Whitehall Rams. We haven't seen the ball in the air too much yet. One of these times, one of these teams ought to break out and put on somewhat of an air show.
Overton, so far on the afternoon, 24 yards rushing. 3rd and 4, 6:40 and running. Second period. The wingback is Rhett Martin. Jones rolls to the bottom of the screen. He gets around the corner, but he's going to be brought down short of a first down. Great pursuit by Big Red. Coming out there to meet him, among others, is number 11, and that's James Barron from his linebacker position.
Yes, he made 1 yard on that play. I think he was a little bit hesitant and put the ball in the air, although I thought that he had an open receiver downfield. He probably didn't see him.
He had a pretty good block from Dave Draper as he turned the corner there, and it looked like he had a little hole, but the pursuit came up and nailed him just about 2 yards after he got past the line of scrimmage, and Jones now will punt. It goes back on the play to number 9. That's Dan Wise. Wise is brought down right there at the 19-yard line.
Rams had very effective coverage on that punt.
And on the tackle is Mike Bucchieri, 34 yards on that punt for Brian Jones. As you take a look one more time, so he gets a good block from Draper right here. It looks temporarily like he has room to the bottom of the screen, but there's a sideline. The pursuit comes there, and the Rams come up short once again. 5:45 left to go and running here in the first half. A reminder, here at halftime, we'll try to cover the Whitehall High School Marching Band. That and much, much more at halftime, so stay tuned. 1st and 10 from the 19. Nodianis going back to throw. Rolls to the top of the screen. He has pressure. He's brought down from behind by Todd Coulter. In stereo from Coach and myself once again.
Coulter again. He had him on the chase. And there was another Whitehall Ram in on that tackle.
What's amazing to me, Coach, is that he can get back there that fast. Now, Nodianis was still going back to drop back for that pass. And before he was even set, going back about 2 or 3 steps, Coulter was already breathing down his neck.
Yeah, Todd made up a lot of yardage, really, because he was on the chase.
A loss of 5 on the play, 2nd and 15. Nodianis inside the 10, rolls to the top of the screen. He throws. The pass is complete across the 30 and out across the 35-yard line to number 11, James Barron.
Yeah, they had to have pressure on the quarterback on that down. The receiver was wide open.
And Whitehall, they're Ram tough, right?
Oh, yes.
Take a look at the mascot along the sideline. Under 5 minutes left to go here in the first half. I'm Randy Reinhardt along with Coach Jim Anderson, formerly of Brookhaven and St. Charles and all around Columbus. Glad to have you for the Division II State Championship game here on Coaxio Communications. And we'd like to welcome our viewers up in the Steubenville area too. Glad to have you here for the State Championship game. And we have movement in the line, and we'll wait for the officials to sort out the situation on the field right now. It's a 1st and 10 situation as we speak at the 36-yard line.
They were in a double tight end formation, a tight wing really, and away from the wing, the end away from the wing to the far side was an illegal procedure.
The call is a legal procedure against Big Red. That'll move him back 5 yards, put him down to the 31, make it a 1st and 15 from the 31-yard line. Well, we talked about Whitehall in the season. They came in with a very, very strong season, 19th in the AP, 13th in the UPI. As the handoff on the pitch goes to the bottom of the screen, that's number 23, Todd Kelly. Kelly gets it out to about the 37-yard line. Meanwhile, Big Red of Steubenville, number 2 in the final AP and UPI poll.
They made up the penalty, the 5-yard penalty, and it got an extra yard on top of that to go 6 yards on that play.
Make it 2nd and 9, under 4.5 minutes left to go first half. A lot of turnovers, a lot of opportunities. So far, no scoring. We'll see what happens here. Nodianis pitches to Lucas to the top of the screen. Lucas works his way outside. He's brought down at the 38-yard line. And Stacy Evans, coach, he has a nose for that ball. He knows when it's time to go in there and rush. And I'll tell you what, when he knows it's time to stay home, he stays on the outside linebacker position. He was in there that time to make the tackle.
Well, that defense is very effective, and I think largely because they're such sure tacklers. Their pursuit is great, and when they put the tackle on, it nails the ball carrier. There's no doubt about it.
Gain of 1 on the play, 3rd and 8. Nodianis going back to throw. The pressure is there, and guess who? This time it looks like it's number 86, Jim Soma. So many heroes so far for the Rams. You look at Coulter, you look at Soma, you look at Evans. They bring him down just around the 30-yard line. Big Red with some opportunities, but once again, they're going to be forced to punt from their own 30-yard line. And in to punt one more time is number 41, Brian Young. Young gets a kickoff, a line drive kick. Matevsky goes over his head, picks it up at the 33, gives ground to the 30. And he's brought down just around the 31-yard line. Tackle on the play made by number 11, James Barron. On that punt for Young, 36 yards.
That ball took a nice bounce for him, luckily. Could have lost the ball on that play.
1st and 10 from there, and a reminder that high school basketball is just 3 weeks away here on Coaxio Communications, Channel 16. I'll be, along with Mark Munch Bishop, at Hartley High School, the home of the pit, as we like to say. The Hartley Hawks take on the Worley Wolverines December 14th. The pitch to Overton across the 30-yard line. Overton just makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Let's make it 2nd and 10 right from the 31-yard line.
That was great pursuit defense by the Big Red. This game is so close. 42 yards rushing by the Big Red, 38 by the Whitehall Rams. You couldn't get any closer. Still 2:35 left in the half.
The only difference really statistically is the fact that Big Red has completed that long pass for 22 yards to James Barron. Here we go. 2nd and 10. The ball from the 31. Wide open is Martin. The pass is overthrown. Coverage on the play by number 9. That's Dan Wise.
And the number 11 by the Steubenville Big Red, James Barron.
The interesting thing, Dan Wise and Barron, the two gentlemen we're talking about, lead the team in interceptions on the season. Each have 5. The leading tackler for Big Red is Keenan up front. Keenan has 104 tackles, and Downer to second. And Keenan just had an outstanding season for Big Red so far. Here we go. 3rd and 9. The pass goes out to the top of the screen to Overton. 45. He's got room. 50, 45, 40. He's brought down from behind around the 35-yard line. Don Overton got away around midfield. He took it all the way down to just about the 35-yard line.
Well, the Rams that time, the difference there, I think, was that Brian Jones had time to set the throw. He had an open receiver. The ball was caught well, and after the catch, our tailback, Don Overton knew what to do with the ball, taking it down to the 35, isn't it?
35-yard line.
35-yard line, Coach, and we have a
the Big Red.
timeout on the field, and we have an injured Whitehall Ram on the far side of the field. We've lost communications with the truck, so if they're communicating, we cannot hear, and we'll take a look ourselves right now on the far side of the field. That's Don Overton, a little slow in getting up, and Overton now to his feet, and he'll be coming off the field. Well, we want to hear from you at Coaxial Communications. If you have a comment, a gripe, if you like what you see on Channel 16, we'd like to hear from you. The address is on the screen. Send it care of Programming, Coaxial Communications, 3770 East Livingston Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43227. We do not claim to be network caliber, but we do whatever we can for you. We've covered 13 high school football games this season. We've been to 10 different stadiums to bring you games. We've followed the Whitehall Rams all the way to the state championship game. There's something you want to talk to us about, drop us a line. 1st and 10 now. The ball on the 35-yard line, 2:13 and running here in the second period, no score. Stacy Evans now replaces Don Overton. The handoff inside goes to Pat Johnson. Johnson gains 2 on the play, gets it down to the 33. The Rams will be facing a 2nd and 8.
That catch that Overton made. The catch that Overton made on that last play, the play where he was injured, was a very nice catch. He had to reach back for the ball. He wasn't led by the passer, but it was a nice catch.
As you take a look at replays once again, we apologize. We've lost communications with the truck, but we're glad to have you here for the state championship game here on Channel 16. The handoff to Stacy Evans. Evans tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he is lucky to get back to the 33-yard line. Stacy Evans replacing Don Overton from the tailback position, gets it back to just about the 33-yard line. Make it a 3rd and 8 situation as we're down under 90 seconds left to go here in the first half.
Now here the Rams are in a situation, someone's called timeout. There's an injury to one of the Big Red.
It's number 21. That's one of the defensive backs. That's Joe Biazzi. Joe's a 5'9", 155-pound junior. Still down on the field being attended to by the Steubenville physicians. Their head coach we talked about, Reno Saccoccia. It's spelled Saccoccia, but pronounced Saccoccia. In his 2nd season at Steubenville, what a record he's compiled. 22-1. Our only loss last season was in the regionals to Youngstown Ursuline. They came back this year and avenged that loss by beating Ursuline by a score of 8-0. And that's the only blemish so far in 2 seasons for Reno Saccoccia. As we said, he's also a graduate of Akron University, and interestingly enough, he went to Steubenville Catholic Central, their big rival.
Well, you can't do much better than the record he has, can you, in a 2-year period? 1 loss?
22-1. We had a conversation on the phone. We were talking for quite a while, and I was explaining the statistics and trying to get a lot of information. I was dividing numbers out on the phone, and he said, well, don't ask me for help because I majored in phys ed and I minored in phys ed. I've never met a more likable coach. Really a pleasure to work with a lot of these coaches. You know, we think we have the market cornered on great coaches here in Central Ohio, but we don't. There's great coaches all over the state of Ohio. Here we go. Jones going back to throw. The pressure is on, and he's going to be brought down around the 35-yard line. That brings up an interesting situation now as we're down under 1 minute left to go. Coach, you have the ball on the 35-yard line. Clock is down to about 50 seconds left to go. 4th and about, let's say, 10 yards to go as Big Red takes a timeout. Do you go for it?
Well, they're going to attempt a field goal here. It looks like it'd be 52 yards if it's successful. This young man may have a leg that good. I don't know, but at any rate, they're going to attempt it.
Well, Carter's kicked some field goals for the Rams this season. He has not made one from 52 yards away this season. He has kicked some long ones, though. Against Westerville North, he kicked one from 38 yards away. We saw him kick that 34-yard field goal against Eastmore to pull out that victory with about 90 seconds left to go. Kicked that from 34 yards away to give them a 10-7 victory over Eastmore. He's kicked 3 or 4 field goals on the season. We'll find out what happens here. We have to always think about the possibility of a fake, too, Coach, as we saw in the punt earlier by Big Red.
Mm-hmm. You know, on that 3rd down play where Brian Jones had to eat the football, his receivers, he had 3 receivers out, and every one of them were covered just about as tightly as a glove. So he had to eat the football. Can't
Here we
fault
go.
the young quarterback on that
51
play.
seconds left to go in the first half. Carter is on. In to hold is Mark Stewart, 52 yards away. There's the snap. The kick is up, and it's going to be short. Comes down about 1 yard deep in the end zone. It's a touchback.
And Big Red gets the ball back, 1st and 10 with 45 seconds left to go here in the first half. 45 seconds left to go in the first half, and Big Red will take over from their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Well, you want to get the most out of your cable viewing time? Join Cindy Zeidman and Ron Van Fossen for Cable View on Channel 16. Whether it's a blockbuster on HBO or the Movie Channel or a special local program, Ron and Cindy highlight the day's best choices and help you make the most out of your viewing. That's Cable View right here on Channel 16. 1st and 10, 45 seconds left to go. Coach, would you have predicted a scoreless first half?
Well, with the defenses that we've seen them play through the year, that was a high probability, I think, even though Steubenville could put the points on the board.
Nodianis' pass goes out to Todd Kelly. Kelly gets out to about the 26-yard line, but we have another penalty flag on the play, and we'll check that out in just a second. One more time, we'll remind you of the officials for today's game. As Coach checks out the penalty call, the referee is Sam Fanstow, the umpire Dick Zink, the linesman is John Houston, the line judge is Fred Church, and the back judge is Bob Norman.
What you're going to see, I think, here is a holding call. There was a down Big Red line, defensive man, and I think to keep him the Ram off of his ball carrier, he reached out.
And they mark the ball now inside the 10-yard line, and we'll wait for the penalty call. It's a clip against Big Red, so they'll move the ball back to the 10-yard line. A 1st and 20 with 38 seconds left to go here in the first half. And if you're Big Red now, Coach, I would think that you probably want to just sit on the ball right now and eat it for the remainder of the first half. The handoff goes, in fact, to number 23 one more time. That's Todd Kelly. Kelly gets it up to about the 12-yard line. A gain of about 2 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd, and let's call it 18. And now the Rams take another timeout here with 26 seconds left to go here in the first half. Reminder once again, coming up at halftime, we'll try to cover the Whitehall High School Marching Band for you. And Coach and I will be back early on in the second half with the first half stats and take a look at what we can expect to see in the second half. All that coming up at halftime. A reminder, too, that the Division 5 championship game was played earlier today. And Middletown Fenwick lost to Newark Catholic. The score was 14-6. I think the difference there was total yardage. You take a look at Newark Catholic gained 302 yards to Middletown Fenwick's 143 yards. I think that is, yes, 143 yards. Another thing we ought to mention, too, Coach, coming up tomorrow as we speak right now, when this game is being taped, the Division 4 championship. We'd like to wish the Hartley Hawks the best of luck.
I think I'm going to have to get over here to watch that. I expect a fine football game out of the Hawks. They are. They're a fine blocking football team, and we know that David Key knows what to do once he gets his hands on the football.
You're absolutely right. I think the thing we talked about Key all season is the fact that he knows how to get outside and how to outrun the pursuit. There can be 2 or 3 linebackers coming after him as he tries to turn the corner, but he still has room to come outside. Timeout situation, Big Red still has 2 left. Whitehall has 1 left. 2nd and 18, 26 seconds left to go. See if Whitehall decides to use one more timeout after this play. We'll find out. Nodianis calling signals. He'll just go back on his knee and fall down at around the 9-yard line. Now with the 3rd and 18 situation, the only thing the Rams could really do right now is hope for one more play, and then that would end the first half. So let's see if they decide to use that final timeout, or Big Red decides to wait and go into halftime with a scoreless first half. A lot of action, a lot of turnovers, but no scoring. We had 2 strong defenses coming into the game. We said Big Red had not been scored upon in 8 of their 12 games, and that's the way we end the first half. Whitehall nothing, Steubenville nothing. You're watching the Division II State Championship game here on Coaxial Communications. We'll be back with halftime in just a moment. Welcome back. We're about set for the start of second half action. Division II championship game. Let's take a look at those first half stats if we can. There you see 3 first downs for each team. Yards rushing in favor of Steubenville, but very slightly, Coach. Yards passing in favor of Whitehall. Total yards very close, 72-63. The Rams get the nod there. 2 fumbles by the Rams in the first half. Very lucky. Those did not turn into touchdowns or field goals for Big Red. Penalties, as you can see, Steubenville 3 for 20 yards, Whitehall 2 for 20 yards. Plays in the first half, 28 plays run by Big Red, 22 by Whitehall. That translates to 14 minutes and 9 seconds for Steubenville to 9 minutes and 51 seconds for Whitehall, Coach.
Yeah, they're very close. Can't get much closer than that. That's the reason the score is 0-0. Although the playing time certainly favors Steubenville Big Red, doesn't it?
And we
had their hands on the ball for 5 minutes longer than the Rams did.
The prospect of overtime now looms as Overton has it at the 20, to the 25, to the 30. Don Overton up the middle, out to the 35-yard line, and the Rams will take over 1st and 10 from there. Let's take a look once again at the offense for the Whitehall Rams. Jim Soma's the tight end. The left tackle, 71, Randy Cooper. The left guard, number 72, Todd Coulter. The center, number 56, Mark Harris. The right guard, number 50, Kenny Glenn. The right tackle, number 73, Dave Draper. The split end, number 11, Tom Matevsky. Brian Jones, the quarterback, with Pat Johnson and Don Overton in the backfield. On the wing, number 22, Rhett Martin. 1st and 10 from the 35. The handoff goes to Pat Johnson. Johnson gains just 1 on the play, make it a 2nd and 9. Very quickly, the defense for Big Red of Steubenville looks something like this. They'll play most of the time in a 4-4. Up front, it's Joe Johnson, Charles Keenan, John Downard, and Matt Morrison. The linebackers are James Barron, Brian Young, Ted Gorman, and Joe Jones. The deep backs are Joe Biazzi, Marcus McGee, and Dan Wise. A gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9. Jones going back to throw now, looking downfield. The pass is incomplete. Looking for Jim Soma, led him just a little too much.
They ran out of a Twins formation. They like to pass out of that. They didn't throw either of the Twins. Threw rather to the tight end.
The pass to Soma is incomplete. That brings up a 3rd and 9 situation now with the ball at the 36-yard line. 11:08 left to go. And Coach, who knows, I might get to do my overtime explanation yet. We'll find out what happens here. Still plenty of time left to go in tonight's game. Jones goes back to throw. The pass is incomplete. I think he was looking for Darren Brickey on the play. A little miscommunication there between Jones and Brickey. The pass is incomplete. Very quickly, that'll bring up a 4th and 9.
Well, the Big Red are going to get their hands on the football again. The Rams are going to have to hold the ball onto the ball longer than those 3 plays in punt.
Brian
Jones to have some possession.
Brian Jones stays into the game to punt. Averages 37 yards on the season. His 2 punts in the first half averages just about 34 yards. There's the punt. It's blocked. The punt is blocked. Joe Johnson has a good angle at it. He picks it up and picks it up at the 1-yard line for a touchdown. A big break for the Big Red as Joe Johnson comes in. He was the only one within about 10 yards of it. He just had to hunt that ball down, and it's a touchdown for Big Red.
I was going to mention earlier that might be a possibility of the block punt because they came awfully close one other time to getting to the football. That snap has to come back very, very quickly.
And now very quickly, Big Red is going for 2. And we have a flag on the play. Wide receivers to the top and the bottom of the screen, but we have a flag on the play, and we'll sort that out in just a moment here. As we start the second half very quickly, we played a little over 1 minute. As you take a look one more time, Ryan Jones has the punt block. It looked like it was blocked by John Downard on the play. It was blocked by John Downard. Downard with the block. Joe Johnson recovers it at about the 1-yard line, picks it up right near the goal line, and Steubenville leads now by a score of 6-0. And with that 5-yard penalty, moving it back to the 8. Let's see if they go ahead and just try the extra point.
6 points looms large in this contest with 0-0 on the score previous to that.
There's the snap. Corsi's kick is up, and it is no good. Wide left. So with 10:55 left to go, fireworks already here in the second half. Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0.
Well, the Rams have been behind before. Let's see what they can do about it this time.
There you take a look at it one more time. Johnson right at the goal line, picks it up. Easy touchdown. And Big Red leads now by a score of 6-0. Downard with the block on the play. As you take a look at the far sidelines there at Reno Saccoccia, his second season, 22-1 overall. 2 straight undefeated regular seasons. The only blemish on his record in 2 years was a regional loss last year to Youngstown Ursuline, which they avenged this year by defeating them by a score of 8-0. Back deep right now for the Rams on this kickoff are number 22, Rhett Martin, and number 46, Don Overton.
The defense comes to play. Of course, you have to count that.
Ed Smith kicks off, and that's Rhett Martin at the 13, across the 15 to the 20, to the 25-yard line, to the 30, room to the bottom of the screen, to the 35, to the 40, cuts back at the 45. Rhett Martin is brought down at the 49-yard line, and we have a penalty flag on the play,
And from the area it was thrown, let's see who that's on.
I think it's on the Rams. Looks like he was pointing at number 15. That's Todd, Jim Todd, is it?
Jim Todd is number 15. We'll wait for the officials to sort out this situation here as we start the second half. It looks like the penalty will be on the Rams, but a fine return by Rhett Martin.
Certainly
That's
will.
worth another look as Rhett Martin worked his way to the bottom of the screen, had plenty of room, and brought it up just to about midfield. Personal foul against the Rams, clipping on the Rams, and they'll sort out this situation and probably move the ball back. We started the second half, and they must have heard us down on the field, Coach, because we had no scoring the first 24 minutes of action. We've got 10:46 left to go, and already a lot of action here in the second half as Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0. The infraction looks like it occurred at the 33-yard line, and they might be moving it back from there to about the 17 or 18-yard line. As you take a look at it one more time, there's the punt. Rhett Martin picks it up. He's to the 20-25. Now all of a sudden makes a good move here to the outside, gets away from Barron, turns the corner, and he's brought down on the play. And there's the hit right there across midfield that Coach was talking about. 1st and 10 now for the Rams from the 16-yard line, 10:44 left to go. Martin on the wing. The pitch goes to Overton to the top of the screen across the 20-yard line. Overton's got room. He's out to the 25 and brought down at around the 26-yard line.
I think he's just shy of the first down on that.
Tackle made on the play by number 86, Matt Morrison. Overton on the season, 155 rushes for 696 yards regular season, 4 touchdowns in regular season. Add one more for last week's touchdown run against Kettering-Alder. He picked up 9 on that play, make it 2nd and 1. The handoff again goes to, let's check that, that's Pat Johnson out to the 29-yard line, and he has enough for a Ram first down.
He had a decent hole there, too, if he hadn't been tripped up. That previous play cost the Rams, that clip actually on that punt return, or kickoff rather, cost the Rams about 34 yards.
1st and 10 now from the 29-yard line. A pitch again to Overton to the top of the screen, to the 30, 35, out to the 36-yard line. This looks like a replay of the second half of the Kettering-Alder game last week, Coach. They came out really fired up. They got a touchdown with 15 seconds left to go in that first half, and they came out really running strong, and the strength of the Ram game on offense is ball control.
Well, now that's twice they've gotten onto the corner for a 9-yard gain on the opening down in the series, and it looks like maybe they noticed something, huh?
Shuttling the wide receivers, Darren Brickey is in wide to the bottom of the screen. Martin on the wing, Johnson and Overton in the backfield. Jones on the keeper across the 40 out to the 42-yard line, and another Ram first down as the Whitehall crowd now comes to life.
That keeper picked up about 4 yards. You'd like to get the 4 yards on a keeper every time you run it.
1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. 9:12 left to go and running here at Ohio Stadium. The Division II championship game between Steubenville, 12-0 on the season, and Whitehall, 12-0 on the season. The only game that features 2 undefeated teams. This time it's Overton to the bottom of the screen, and he gets out just about to the 43-yard line. A gain of only 1 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 9.
Yeah, he only picked up a yard. That was a nice play on the ball by the defender. Looks like he may have sustained a bit of an injury on that play, too. That is Don Overton.
And he does just make it off the field. He's sitting, in fact, just across the sidelines at around the 35-yard line. And coming into the game now, they put twins to the top of the screen. That's Todd and Martin. To the bottom of the screen is Bucchieri. Johnson, the lone running back. The pass to Martin is incomplete, overthrown at around the 39-yard line of Big Red.
Brian Jones is a better passer than what he's exhibiting here. He's way off of his mark. He's throwing far longer than what he needs to throw to that receiver. He's overshot the mark consistently, really.
Jones coming into today's game was just about 50% on the season, 36 of 73 for 502 yards and 6 touchdowns. 3rd and 9. So far, Jones today unofficially 1 for 6. 8:21 left to go. Handoff, he tries to get it to Pat Johnson, and Brian Jones keeps it, and he's brought down at around the 42-yard line, so the Rams will be forced to punt once again.
The defender then very nearly got the handoff. That was close.
In fact, it looked from this angle like Jones was intending to hand off to Pat Johnson. He saw the pursuit was there, kept the football himself, took the loss. So the Rams will punt now from their own 42. Jones stays in. Low snap. There's the kick. Bounces at the 30, inside the 30 to about the 20-yard line, and it's picked up by Joe Biasi. Biasi comes back to about the 20-yard line, and he is brought down by a host of Rams. In on the tackle, number 50, Kenny Glenn. 38 yards on that punt for Brian Jones.
That was great punt coverage. They had 5 Rams on the football. Punt receiver had nowhere to go.
So they take over 1st and 10. Mark the ball officially on the 21-yard line. 7:37 and running here in the third period. 6-0 to score. Steubenville leads. We're glad to have you. Whether you're watching in the Columbus area on coaxial communications or up in Steubenville, glad to have you for the Division II championship game. The handoff inside across the 25 up to the 28-yard line is number 41, Brian Young. Young gets it up to the 48. Let's take a look right now as we start the second half at the offense for the Big Red of Steubenville. It looks like this. A split end, number 7, Julius Shackelford. Across the front, it's Keenan, Andreen, Tamucci, Mamula, Smith. The tight end is Matt Morrison. The flanker, number 14, John Murray. The quarterback, number 10, Steve Nodianis. The running backs, Brian Young and Todd Kelly, and Steve Lucas can also come in, number 44, the leading rusher on the team. Currently, we have Shackelford wide to the bottom of the screen. The backs are in the eye, in motion to the bottom of the screen. In fact, now is number 23, Todd Kelly, and flags fly on the play. Delay a game will cost Big Red 5 more yards.
You don't want too many of those when you got something going. It looked like he had a pretty good opportunity to pick up the first down here with about a 2nd and 2 now, or 2nd and 3 rather. Now he's looking at 2nd and 8.
With the ball back at around the 23-yard line as we see Don Overton on the sidelines around the Ram 40-yard line exercising his leg. Got his helmet off, and his status right now looks a little uncertain. Nodianis on the pitch to the bottom of the screen, getting out across the 25 to the 30 to the 35-yard line. All the way out to the 39-yard line is Todd Kelly.
That was nice running by the pitch back then.
On the option to Todd Kelly. Kelly gets it out to the 39-yard line, and it's another first down for Steubenville.
He cuts quickly, and he has a great ability to accelerate on the cutback.
Into the game with a play from Reno Saccoccia's number 14, John Murray. Going wide to the top of the screen is Julius Shackelford. The handoff inside goes to number 41, and that's Brian Young. Young gets it around the 43-yard line. Give him a gain of about 4 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 6.
Big Red's very quick. It looked to me like he had an opportunity to break that to the outside on that dive.
As you take a look at that replay of that previous run by number 23, Todd Kelly. Kelly picking up about 18, 19 yards, getting it out to the 39-yard line. We're back to live action now, 2nd and 6. Under 6 minutes left to go. Third period, Big Red leads by a score of 6-0. That's Murray in motion to the top of the screen. The handoff again inside, bowling his way out to the 49-yard line is Todd Kelly. Kelly, we talked about him on the season, came in with 700 yards, and you look at that, you look at Lucas with 1,077 yards and Young with 520 yards rushing, and Nodianis himself has gained over 210 yards, as we said, rushing this season. Kelly, in fact, was injured this part of the season, and Shackelford, too, was injured. Hurt his knee in preseason, Coach, and came back for Week 9 in their game against Youngstown East.
He was out that long, huh?
Came back in Week 9, and, of course, you took a look at the scores that I've given you so far this season. As we said, they have shut out 8 of their 12 opponents so far this season.
Big Red's chewed up about 30 yards of real estate on this drive thus far.
And they're just short now. 3rd and less than a yard. 5.5 minutes left to go. Third period. From the eye. The handoff to the up back and going nowhere, but bouncing outside with room now to the 50, to the 45, and out of bounds at the 41-yard line. He looked stopped at the line of scrimmage, did Brian Young, but Young just kept working his way outside, and Young got it down to the 41-yard line.
You have to finish a tackle. That's where the arms come in. You make contact with the shoulders, and you finish it with the arms. That tackle just wasn't finished. He was hit hard enough right at the line of scrimmage. I thought he was going to experience a 2-yard loss.
But it's a 1st and 10. They mark him out of bounds officially at the 40. The pitch goes to the bottom of the screen. and taking it down to the 36-yard line for Big Red is number 23, Todd Kelly. Kelly gets it down to just about the 36. Give him a gain of 4 on the play. Make it 2nd and 6.
I don't know what they're complaining about down there, but number 73, Dave Draper, was saying something to the official.
As you take a look at that run on the previous play by Todd Kelly, we come back to live action now. 2nd and 6, 4:49, and running third period. Murray in motion to the top of the screen. The backs are split. The handoff goes to number 41, Brian Young, and Young gets it down to just about the 32-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of that first down.
And Phillips put a real good hit on the young man that time, stopped him dead in his tracks, only after a gain of about 4 yards, wasn't it?
Clock now down to 4.5 and running. We'll find out if that Ram defense once again bends but does not break. Young, 26 yards rushing unofficially himself this quarter. Here we go, 3rd and less than 1. The backs from the I position again. The handoff to the up back, and that's Brian Young. Young gets it down across the 30 to the 29-yard line. Enough for another Steubenville first down.
They look like they're meaning business on this drive. They've done it well. Picking up 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 yards on a carry.
Let's take a look at that Ram defense while we have the chance real fast. They'll play a 4-3 with Soma, Draper, Fraley, and Justice. The linebackers are Glenn, Coulter, and Evans. The backs, Matezki, Todd, Phillips, and Mark Stewart. 1st and 10 now. The ball from the 29. Flags on the play. Coming out to the bottom of the screen is number 23, Todd Kelly. He was brought down by Tom Matezki, but let's check that penalty flag here. At around the 43-yard line it was thrown. Illegal motion is the call against Steubenville.
That was a nice defensive play there on that down by Tom Matevsky, and he had a lot of help from Stacy Evans.
The backs have been doing a good job for the Rams so far today, Coach, coming up a couple of times, making big tackles. Todd earlier in the first half. We've seen fine play from Stacy Evans, too. Another man I want to mention while we're handing out accolades right now is Charles Keegan. In the offensive line for Steubenville, Big Red, number 60. That's right, Eastern District Lineman of the Year, voted by AP. Congratulations to him. The penalty is refused, bringing up a 2nd and a little more than 10 situation with the ball nearly back at the 30-yard line. That's Murray in the slot. Shackelford wide to the top of the screen. The handoff to Lucas, and Lucas is nailed in the backfield around the 34-yard line. 2 Rams in on that play. 73, Dave Draper, and number 76, Paul Fraley.
Rams seem like they're coming at him again, don't they? It
has been a game of spurts so far, Coach. The Rams came out strong. That kickoff return looked like they were really moving, and then the penalty moved them back about 30 yards. And now Big Red has taken the ball from just about their 20-yard line and marched downfield to the 32, where they stand with a 3rd and 13. Exactly 3 minutes left to go. 3rd period. Nodianis going back to throw. The pass incomplete off the hands of number 11, James Barron.
The pass was close, but the receiver was covered by Stacy Evans. I don't think he'd have gotten too far. It was close. He might have made that connection.
Get a good look at James Barron, 5'11", 185, and a senior. He'll stay in the game, as it looks like, and I say it looks like since they faked it earlier in the game, Big Red is going to punt. There's the punt by Young. Martin inside the 10, watches it go over his head and into the end zone for a touchback. The Rams get the ball 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line, 32 yards on that punt with 2:47 left to go here in the 3rd period. Well, Coaxial subscribers have been receiving their new Cable Saver cards. The cards are arriving in a separate mailing, and they've arrived to most of you subscribers. Contained in this envelope are 2 personalized cards listed to the name on the account. Just sign the back of the card, and you're ready to go. 1st and 10 from the 20. The pitch to Overton to the top of the screen. Overton brought down just around the 21-yard line, and it's by the man I was talking about just a few moments ago, Mr. Charles Keenan. He brings him down, give him a gain of about 1 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 9.
Now, he is a good defender, but he's a two-way player, Keenan is. He's a fine football player.
Well, we've seen that just about every game we've done this season, Coach, and you see so many fine two-way players like that. Keenan, Morrison is another one. Brian Young in the backfield plays a linebacker position for Big Red, too. The handoff, bringing the wing back around. That's Rhett Martin, and Rhett Martin is brought down at the 23-yard line. Tackle made on the play by number 9. That's Dan Wise.
That was pretty much a situation of the Rams getting in their own way, although the Big Red helped it.
Clock now under 2 minutes left to go. Third period. A gain of 2 on the play. Let's make it 3rd and 7. Darren Brickey in with the play now from Jeff Jones.
Well, will they pass down here?
3rd and 7. Let's look for a rollout maybe from Brian Jones. We'll find out what happens. Martin now goes to the bottom of the screen. That's Brickey to the top of the screen. The backs are split. Jones giving instructions now. Moves Overton the other side of Johnson. And we've got a penalty flag.
5-yard delay the game penalty, it looks like here.
The explanation that Jones had to give in the backfield caused the Rams to take too much time. That'll move them back 5, put it back at the 18-yard line, and make it a 3rd and 12.
Looks like we may see a different play here, too.
As once again they shuttle those wide receivers. Coming into the game now is number 11, Tom Matewski, and going out number 10, Darren Brickey. 1:27 left to go, third period. Steubenville leads Whitehall by a score of 6-0. Martin wide to the bottom of the screen. The pressure's on Jones. He can't get away from Brian Young. Brought down at the 16-yard line. You want to talk about two-way players?
Yeah, he's a good one. He's done an outstanding job the entire ball game. He's been on very significant, made some very significant contributions on defensive plays throughout the game.
Dan Wise,
he's doing offensively.
Dan Wise and Joe Biazzi are back deep to receive this punt by Brian Jones. He'll be standing inside his 5-yard line, around his 2. Under 1 minute left to go in the third period. There's the snap. He gets it off. A high kick. That's Biazzi calling a fair catch, and around the 48, loses the handle, and he retains possession at the Ram 48-yard line. So Big Red dodges a bullet there, and they'll have the ball 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
That's one thing about the artificial turf. If you fumble the football, you get 9 out of 10 times you get a good bounce off the turf and right back to you. That wasn't the case with grass.
Look, some of the Big Red fans standing on the far end. That's a little deceiving. Remember how many people this stadium can hold. There is a large Steubenville crowd here and a large Whitehall crowd too. The pitch goes to Lucas. Flag down on the play to the 45, to the 40. He's brought down just around the 40-yard line by Kenny Glenn. And let's check out that flag down on the field.
That was a fine job by Kenny Glenn. He took on that lead blocker again, and they were out there quickly, and Whitehall didn't get too much support on the perimeter that time.
In fact, the problem is they were out there too quickly. The call is a legal procedure against Big Red. They're explaining the option now to Todd Coulter. They started 1st and 10 at the 48. He gained 8 on that play, so they'll move him back 5 and put the ball at their own 47-yard line, make it a 1st and 15 with 24 seconds left to go here in the third period. Wide to the bottom of the screen, number 14, John Murray. To the top of the screen, that's Julius Shackelford. Norianis hands off to the up back. That's number 41, Brian Young. Young gets it across midfield down to about the 49-yard line. We're under 10 seconds left to go here in the third period. We talked about how close the game was, how strong the defenses were, and we thought 1 or 2 scores might be the difference. We'll find out as we head to the fourth and final period with the score, Steubenville 6, Whitehall 0. You watch championship football action here on Coaxial Communications. To number 44, that's Lucas, and Lucas gets it down to the 41-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds.
About a 3rd and 4 here. This is critical down for both ball teams. If the Big Red can sustain the drive, already leading by 6-0, we're getting late into the game now.
Coach, there's the camera. Hello, everyone. This is our location, high above Ohio Stadium. 11:30 left to go here in the fourth period. Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0. Make it a 3rd and 3 now with a ball on the 42-yard line. Nodianis brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's got Young and Lucas in the backfield. A quick pop over the middle, and it's intercepted by Stacey Evans. What reaction by Stacey Evans? Works his way out to the 48-yard line, and he's driven back to the 45. What a quick pair of hands by Stacey Evans.
As short as that pass was, and as hard as it was thrown by Nodianis, he has to have quick hands, and he certainly demonstrated it right there. Beautiful defensive play.
So the Rams with a break to start the fourth period as we take a look from ground level. Great reaction by Stacey Evans there.
And Nodianis gets in on the action there to help bring him down. The Rams take over now, 1st and 10. Let's mark it officially at their own 49-yard line. The pitch out to Overton, room to the bottom of the screen, across midfield, down to the 44-yard line is Don Overton, given the gain of 7 on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 3.
If he'd had the block by his end, then he had a score. There was no one left. He had the sideline down into the end zone.
We're under 11 minutes, 10:36 and running. Steubenville, 12-0 on the season, has scored a touchdown. Whitehall, 12-0 on the season, yet to score in today's game, and jumping offside the right side of the Whitehall line, and we'll unsort that situation here in just a moment. Once again, let's recognize the officials, because this is a big game for them too, Coach. They get a chance to work a state championship game. The referee is Sam Fanstow. The umpire is Dick Zink. The linesman is Tom Houston. The line judge is Fred Church, and the back judge is Bob Norman. They mark the 5 yards off against the Rams. Moves the ball back to the 49-yard line. A legal procedure is the call on Whitehall. Stats through 3 quarters look like this. Steubenville 6 first downs to 5 for Whitehall. Yards rushing, Big Red 98, 65 for Whitehall. 22 yards passing for Steubenville, 35 for Whitehall. Here we go. The pitch goes to the bottom of the screen. That's Don Overton. Overton pulls his way down to the 40-yard line, and he'll have enough for a Ram first down.
He went after it that time. That young man was in business. He really meant business, too, all the way on that. That was a hard-running back, that down.
Through 3 quarters, Steubenville maintained their edge. They have run 42 plays to 34 for the Rams. We're down to 10 minutes left to go in tonight's game. 6-0 is the score. 1st and 10 now from the 40-yard line. The handoff goes to Pat Johnson. Johnson gains just a yard on the play. Brought down at the 39-yard line. Tackle made on the play by number 86, Matt Morrison. Let's make it 2nd and 9.
That was the companion play, of course. That sets up your offense, the fullback dive.
2nd and 9 from the 39-yard line. After the game, we hope to be on the field. Depends on how many people we can fit in the elevator here. We'll find out in just a moment. Overton to the bottom of the screen. The pursuit is there that time. He is brought down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. No less than 5 Steubenville tacklers ready to meet Don Overton as he tried to turn the corner.
Well, he was out a little bit wide. His blocking was inside. His blocking was off tackle on that hole. Had he seen the hole, he might have been able to cut back in to take advantage of it. There was a hole to the inside. Of course, he's looking for a run on the perimeter on a pitch like that.
Unofficially, Overton with 60 yards rushing so far in today's game. The pitch goes to Overton again. There's room to the 35. Don Overton brought down at the 40-yard line. He's going to be very close to the first down. It depends on where that official's foot is.
If it's on the marker.
On the far side are just about splitting the marker, and we cannot tell with the Whitehall crowd on the sideline where exactly he is. And we have a couple injured players down on the field right now. Check that situation out. Right now we still have a Ram down, and it could be Don Overton after that run. In fact, we have 2 Rams down. Let's check that. That looks like a number, is that 86? Pull out a little bit. Yes, thank you. That's Jim Soma down there. Jim Soma is currently down on the field for the Rams. And there's another player right next to him, a good 3 yards in front of him. 2 Rams currently down on the field right now. And Coach will sort out that situation in just a moment. While we have the chance, I want to thank all the athletic directors from all the high schools who's helped us out this season here on Coaxial Communications. You see the other Ram, it is Don Overton coming to his feet now. We thank all the athletic directors and coaches from the schools in the Coaxial Communications coverage area. Starting with Beechcroft, the AD there is Ed Dunaway, and their coach in football is Andy Powell. At Hartley, the AD is Tom King, the football coach is Dick Geyer. We'd like to wish them the best of luck in the playoffs. Brookhaven, the AD is Everett Thomas, the coach Gary Carter. At Eastmore, the AD is Marsh Moberly, the coach is Bob Stewart, and you can tell by the crowd reaction it's a first down for the Rams. At DeSales, the AD Bob Triano, and the coach Tony Pusateri. At Groveport, the AD Tom Dorman, and the coach Tom McDonald. At Independence, the athletic director is Dan Smith. Marv Bohannon is the coach. At Linden McKinley, the AD is Tom Enott, their coach Paul Hudson. At Northland, Tom Wickheiser and Bruce Smith. Pickerington, Roger Young and Jack Johnson. At Reynoldsburg, Dan Hoffman and Ike Eichinger. And at Walnut Ridge, Clifton Davis and Vince Cahill. Thank you for all your help all season long to make high school football 84 what it is. 1st and 10 from the 30. The pitch to the bottom of the screen. That's Stacey Evans. And Evans gets back to the 30-yard line. Tackle made on the play by number 86, Matt Morrison.
Yeah, they had it covered. He doesn't quite get to the corner as quickly as Don Overton does.
That brings up a 2nd and 10 situation now. The clock down to 8 minutes and 14 seconds and running. Wide to the bottom of the screen. That's number 85, Mike Ukiere. To the top of the screen, Rhett Martin. Jones rolling, looking downfield. The pressure's on. He's got a gap up the middle, but he's brought down at around the 27-yard line. Tackled at the 27-yard line, and Brian Jones is still down on the turf right now. And I think we'll have another official's timeout as Jones has not come to his feet yet. You see he's down on the turf right now, being attended to.
They're hitting hard out there, there's no doubt about it. They're putting those tackles on with a lot of gusto, and the Rams are feeling it.
Have to check that out on a replay here to see what happens to Brian Jones. It looked like he was spinning a little bit as he tried to come back across the middle. He came in there, came down, and it looked like his left leg got it as he tried to turn his way upfield, work his way back inside. He was brought down around the 27-yard line. He's still down on the field right now being attended to.
I don't think it was the initial hit that hurt him. I think it was the hits, second and third hit after he was down.
And of course, it's a fairly cold day today, Coach, and the contact with the AstroTurf when you don't prepare yourself to hit the ground can be a little brutal hit.
It's hard. That ground is awfully hard. Don Overton's come in again, I guess, to replace Stacey Evans at tailback.
And let's see if they bring in Jim Franklin at quarterback. They do. Franklin is 6 feet, 163 pounds, and a junior, and he'll be coming in under fire with a 3rd and 7 situation for the Rams. 3rd and 7. Overton back into the game along with Johnson. Martin on the wing. The pitch goes to Don Overton, and flags fly again.
I think that's an illegal procedure. I thought that the offensive tackle, left tackle, moved too soon.
Illegal procedure is the call against the Rams. Moving back from the 27 to about the 32-yard line.
That's 2 very critical penalties that the Rams have had. 2 procedure calls, 5 yards, when they needed that yardage very badly.
As you look at the Ram cheerleaders, they're still hopeful on their sidelines as they see the penalty being marked off against the Rams. Moves it back out to the 32-yard line, make it a 3rd and 12 situation now with 7:34 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0.
Can that yardage be much closer? The total yardage for both squads, Whitehall 129, Big Red 127.
Can't get any closer. Wide to the bottom of the screen is Tom Matevsky. To the top of the screen, that's number 22, Rhett Martin. We still have a delay in action right now. And the official coming over to the sidelines to explain something to Jeff Jones. Here's the situation, Coach. They didn't get to run that play, and I think the fact is that Franklin came in at quarterback. Since the play didn't get a chance to be run, they might say that Jones cannot come back into the game. I'm not sure if that's the argument that they're trying to make right now, and that Franklin has to run that play on 3rd down and 12.
I'm sure that's it.
And that's exactly what happened. Franklin coming back into the game since that procedure penalty was called before that snap, and when you come out of the game, you have to be out for at least 1 play. So Franklin back in at quarterback with a 3rd and 12 now, the ball at the 32. The pitch goes to Overton. Overton trying to turn the corner, knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
All the Steubenville defense and their grandmothers were at the ball that time. There were a lot of people at the football.
What do their grandmothers wear?
I don't know what they were, but they hit hard.
Okay. Everyone from Steubenville hits hard, as does everyone from Whitehall. As you take a look at Jeff Jones in his 7th season, his team is now faced with a 4th, and let's call it 11, with the ball on the 31-yard line. 7:19 left to go, 4th period. You just about have to go for it. You don't lose too much if you give the ball back at the 30-yard line. That's what the Rams do. That's Martin, wide to the top of the screen. Pressure on by Young. Jones rolling. He's going to have to get rid of it, and he is knocked down on the play. Knocked down by number 22, Joe Jones.
And he picked up about a 5-yard loss along the way. So it now becomes the Big Reds ball on their own 36, 37-yard line. It looks like they're going to mark it.
Mark it at the 37. 7:14 left to go into tonight's game. The clock is running. A reminder, both teams still have their full allotment of 3 timeouts left. 1st and 10 from the 37. In motion to the bottom of the screen, that's Murray. Pitch coming this way, number 23, and that's Joe, check that, 23,
That is Todd Kelly, and Kelly gets it out to about the 39-yard line, but once again, we have another hanky parade on the play.
Yeah, the 2-yard pickup on that.
And this time, it's a holding penalty, it looks like, on Big Red, and it is.
That was a pretty bad time for them to get a holding penalty.
Take a look at ground level. Brian Jones rolls, and he is really nailed there by number 22, Joe Jones, in that 4th and 11 situation. As Coach said, he lost 5 on the play, moved it back to about the 36-yard line. Steubenville took over 1st and 10 at that point, but now we have a 5-yard penalty. That 5-yard penalty, check that holding penalty. We'll move it back to the 24-yard line. Move it back to the 24-yard line. Holding penalty is the call. With 6:43 left to go in today's game. Big Red, 7 penalties so far for 50 yards, and Coach, when all else fails, the monitor has now gone out in tonight's game. Nodianis going back to throw. The pass wide open is Julius Shackelford. The pass is incomplete. Shackelford was wide open to the top of the screen.
That pass was nicely thrown. If it missed, it couldn't have been by more than a quarter of a step. Shackelford made a great effort for the ball. I don't know whether he was injured out of bounds. He's still on the ground. That ground hit you hard. And he went after that ball. He made it the all-out effort to make the completion. It didn't happen, and he's still on the ground over there with his bench.
And he is being attended to right now as we speak. Well, Coax 85 is underway with a whole new look for Coaxio Communications. We're bringing you Showtime and the Disney Channel. We're also bringing back the Arts and Entertainment Network, and we are proud to add the Financial News Network. You can catch it all on Coaxio Communications. Just call the Coax 85 hotline number at 239-8500. Once again, that's 239-8500.
The Big Red liked that pattern so well. The first time they threw it to Shackelford, they came back with it the second time here, and it was equally as unsuccessful.
And this time it brings up a 3rd and 23 situation. The ball on the 25-yard line. 6:24 left to go in this afternoon's game. So used to playing at night, I call it this afternoon, this evening's game. It's the first time this season we've had a chance to do an afternoon game. Wide to the bottom of the screen, that's Fred Wise. Murray, wide to the top. The handoff to Young. Young is submarined by Kenny Glenn, who is doing his Mark Gastineau imitation now after he makes a tackle.
He certainly did. And here we have 6 minutes and 12 seconds left, and it looks like the Rams will get their hand on the football again as the Big Red have to punt out of trouble here.
And Brian Young is back at his own 10-yard line. He punts. It's a line drive punt picked up by Mateski at his own 46. Works his way to midfield and knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Big Red, and on the tackle, number 52, that's Ted Gorman. 29 yards on the punt. Well, you have to give the punting edge so far in today's game to Brian Jones, but so far on the scoreboard, give it to Big Red. They lead the Rams by a score of 6-0. 5:57 left in today's game.
Well, it's still tight. 130 yards to 124 yards this time, however, in favor of the Big Red. But the Rams now have the ball first and 10 at the...
I like first and down better.
45.
First and 10 from the 45. Jones rolls to the top of the screen, and he is nailed by Charles Keenan. Keenan brings him down back around midfield, making a loss of about 4 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd and 14, and now the clock continues to run. 5:40 and running in this afternoon's game.
Coach Jones frantically from the sideline was attempting to get a timeout called here, and he finally got the attention of the official.
With 5:35 left in the 4th period. So Whitehall takes their first timeout here in the second half. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. A reminder, we'd like to give you the address one more time. It's coming up on the screen. We'd like to hear from you. If there's a comment you have, if there's any information you'd like to give us, we want to hear from you. It's been interesting trying to do this game. I'll be honest, we've had a few little quirks, a few little interesting situations. I want to tell you that Coaxio Communications went out and got a few hundred extra feet of cable just to be able to do this game today. We were committed to following the winner of that Eastmore-Whitehall game as far as they went. Whitehall made it to the state championship game, and here we are. We'd like to hear from you. I cannot say enough to these people at Coaxio Communications. The commitment they have, it's very easy today, if you're a cable company, to turn your back on local origination programming. But all I can say is Coaxial Communication, I think, has really done the Columbus area quite a service, and I say thank you to all of them, and we would like to hear from you. 2nd and 14 now. The ball at the 49-yard line. Wide to the bottom of the screen. That's Rhett Martin. To the top of the screen, it's number 11, Tom Matevsky. The pitch goes over, then he loses the handle. The ball's rolling free, and it's recovered on the play by number 72, Todd Coulter.
Often that happens. That was a quick pitch, of course, to Overton. It was put out there at very great velocity, it appeared, and it didn't quite get to his hands, just a tiny bit behind him, and he took his eye off the ball evidently just sufficiently long enough to make it ripe for fumbling.
5:05 left to go in this afternoon's game. Once again, we apologize. We have lost our monitor up here in the booth, so we'll call play-by-play. Looking down on the field with our glasses. Jones rolls to the bottom of the screen. The pass for Soma across the middle is complete. Soma is down to about the 41-yard line, but that's going to bring up about a 4th and 6 situation now for the Rams from the 41-yard line of Big Red.
That was a nice reception. He couldn't get turned around downfield, however. He was coming across field at the reception, so he couldn't do much with it after he caught it. He was covered very nicely by the secondary, the Big Red.
And we have a timeout on the field again, and we do not have a charge to anyone on the scoreboard right now, so we'll have to wait and check the situation out in just a moment to see if that timeout is charged to the Whitehall Rams or not. The officials call timeout, and now they start the clock again with 4:33 and running here in the 4th period. Whitehall facing a 4th and 6 from the Big Red 41-yard line. Coach, while we have the chance again real fast before everything gets a little hectic and chaotic here in the end of the game, thanks all season for everything. It's been a pleasure working with you, and look forward to maybe working on football again next season. Here we
hope so.
4th and 6. Jones, the pass to Martin, enough for a first down. He almost loses the handle, but he brings it down at around the 31-yard line. The Rams keep the drive alive. If you like excitement, you've come to the right place this afternoon.
Well, they've done this so many times throughout the year. This is not anything new to the Rams.
Okay, Bukieri comes into the game with a play now. Going out of the game is number 10, Darren Brickey. Bukieri to the top of the screen. Soma to the bottom of the screen. Johnson and Overton along with Brian Jones. 3:57 left to go. There's Overton on the pitch. Open field tackle. Great play made by James Barron from his linebacker position.
That was a nice play. Of course, they're looking for that option. Whitehall's picked up most of its yardage on the perimeter. They've made very little through the interior of the line. So the Big Red defense, particularly the secondary and the corners, are looking for anything coming wide, and they were on top of the play that time.
Larry Kramer in now with a play from the bench. Once again, this is Overton to the bottom of the screen. He gets down to the 26-yard line.
He found enough of a hole to pick up about 4 yards, so you're looking at a 3rd and 6 about it.
Let's call it a
5.
Just about 5 as they mark it to the 26. He needs to get down to the 21-yard line. 3:12 left to go in the game. Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0. The Division II championship game right here on Coaxial Communications in the Columbus area and in Steubenville, Ohio also. Glad to have you with us. The handoff to the up back. That's Pat Johnson. I think they've been setting that up, Coach, for the last 3 or 4 plays. They've been pitching to Overton, handing off to Overton, and that time they gave it to the up back, the fullback, Johnson, and Johnson's brought down just around the 22-yard line. From this angle, it looks like he's short of a first down, and the Rams take another timeout.
But let me tell you, that was close to a long gainer right there because the tackle was just about made by the defender who just about grabbed him by the ankle. He didn't give him much to shoot at, and had he broken that tackle, it was all the way, I believe.
So the timeout situation looks like this. With 2:46 left to go in the game, Big Red still has their full complement of 3 timeouts. Whitehall with just 1 timeout. Stats unofficially look something like this. Yards rushing for Big Red, 108 yards. Whitehall, 92 yards. Big Red, 22 yards passing. Whitehall with 55, so total yards so far for the game. Whitehall 147 yards, Big Red 130. Once again, we apologize. We've lost the services of our monitor, but we're calling it from up here in nosebleed territory. I'm Randy Reinhardt along with Coach Jim Anderson. The championship game, and so far, Coach, we have Overton with 90 yards rushing in the game.
He's having a fine football game. Really a fine game. He's running the off-tackle hole beautifully.
We want to recognize the seniors on both of these teams for fine seasons they've had and fine careers, and the seniors for both of these high school marching bands. Got to remember, there's more people in the band than there are on the football team. Here we go, 4th and 1. The handoff to Johnson. Johnson has enough for the first down to the 19-yard line. And now the clock will stop as they temporarily move the chains. Once again, then, it will start. The play's being shuttled in again. Darren Brickey into the ball game now. 2:40 left to go.
I don't believe Johnson's ever turned them down all through the season when he was needed in a situation just like that.
Let's mark it at the 19. The handoff goes to Johnson again. Johnson bowls his way down to about the 13-yard line. Coach, we haven't heard a lot from Pat Johnson, but he's making his noise now. 2:21 and running here in the 4th period.
Well, you know,
a 2nd and 3. Coach,
he got better blocking on that down. That was great blocking at the hole then. He had room to run. Reason why he loses his footing, he leans so far forward when he runs. He runs with power.
The pitch to Overton, the bottom of the screen, inside the 10 to the 5. Don Overton.
Oh, my.
And he is stopped short. Don Overton is stopped just short of the goal line with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the game. And listen to this crowd.
This has been the mark of the Whitehall Rams all season long. You get them behind, and they're coming after you.
Here we go. 1st and goal. Remember, though, there's still 2 minutes left to go in this game. Big Red still has 3 timeouts. 1st and goal from the 1. Martin, Overton, and Johnson in the backfield. Jones calling signals. The handoff to Johnson. He is nailed in the backfield.
Oh, that was great defense on that play.
Great pursuit by Big Red. They knock him back to about the 3-yard line. In fact, that's where they'll mark him down, give him a loss of 2 on the play. Make it 2nd and goal from the 3, coming up on 90 seconds left to go in the game.
Well, he lost a good 1.5 yards on that play.
Well, he was inside the 1. They moved him back to the 3. He lost over 2 yards. Here we go. Watch for something wide. 2nd and goal from the 3. Now they go inside to Johnson. Johnson close to the goal line. And no signal. Back to where they started again inside the 1-yard line. 3rd down now. The clock down to 70 seconds left to go in tonight's game. 2 teams that came in 12-0 on the season. The only 2 teams playing in a championship game that are still undefeated. We're under a minute. Steubenville leads by a score of 6-0. Whitehall now with a 3rd and goal from just about, looks like half a foot away from the goal line. Johnson and Overton in the backfield. And we have a penalty flag on the field. Penalty flag, and let's sort out this situation. We'll find out who it's against.
It's against the Big Red. That's just going to nudge it a tiny bit closer.
Breathe on the ball, and that'll move it that much closer to the goal line if it's against Big Red, because it is so close to the goal line as we speak right now.
It was, of course, down there with a 3rd down coming up and 2 magnificent plays preceding this. They're anxious. That defense is anxious as the dickens to stop this play.
This is incredible, Coach. If you wrote a script, you couldn't have written it any more exciting than we have right now. 47 seconds left to go. 3rd and goal from inside the 1. Motion on both sides of the line. Let's see who they call it on.
Well, they have to call it the one way.
The defense
can be in motion. The defense can be in motion. There's nothing to stop them from doing anything they want to do.
And it will be on the Rams.
That's going to hurt them. That was the most awful time to get a penalty like that.
A legal procedure will move the ball back from just outside the goal line to just past the 5-yard line. We'll have it 3rd and goal from the 5 with 41 seconds left to go in the game.
Well, that was the most inopportune time to lose 5 yards when you have the ball nudging the goal line for you.
The Big Red defense has been up to every test so far this afternoon. We'll find out what happens now. 3rd and goal from the 5. Jones rolling. He's looking to pass to Rhett Martin. Let's see if he's in the end zone. We're waiting for a signal's call, and they say incomplete. They say Rhett Martin was out of the end zone.
I think I'd have to go along with that call because it looked to me, I wish we could run that over again.
I'd give a nickel to see that one from up here.
But it looked to me that his momentum took him out. I don't think he had the ball in bounds.
Probably run it again from the truck, and you'll get a chance to judge for yourself whether he was in bounds or not. Let's see if the Rams take a timeout now with 27 seconds left to go. That'll bring up a 4th and goal situation from the 5-yard line. We have time on the field, but so far no timeout has been indicated that has been charged to either team. 27 seconds left to go. We've played 47 minutes and 33 seconds to come down to this, and now they have charged Whitehall with their third and final timeout. No timeouts left. Big Red still has their full complement of 3 timeouts left. We're down to a 4th and goal at the 5-yard line, Coach.
You couldn't ask for any better situation, the drama for a championship football game between 2 squads, both of whom are undefeated. Coming down to the last 27 seconds with the Big Red ahead 6-0. Whitehall with a chance to score here with the ball on the 5-yard line. Last down.
Here we go.
4th down.
4th and goal from the 5. 27 seconds left to go. Division II championship game. Jones brings him up. Overton and Johnson in the backfield. Jones rolls to the bottom of the screen. He's looking. The pass is pulled down. It's a touchdown by Jim Soma with 21 seconds left to go. And listen to that crowd.
What a great reception by Soma. He had defenders all over him. They had him pinned. No way could I have believed that he'd come down with that reception. Just a beautiful job. And don't take anything away from Mr. Jones either. That ball was put right where it had to be. Soma's a tall young man, and that's where the ball was put up in the air.
21 seconds left to go, and it comes down to the extra point attempt by Jim Carter. Mark Stewart to Hall. 21 seconds left to go. It's a bad snap from center. Stewart picks it up, and he is going to be stopped at the 6-yard line. Stewart is stopped at the 6-yard line. So, Randy, pick up your explanations for overtimes because sports fans, it's going to be time for an encyclopedia reading here, it looks like, in just a few seconds. We're tied at 6. 21 seconds left to go. And it was a bad snap, it looked like, on the center. Stewart couldn't get the handle on it. Came down. Stewart tried to roll around the bottom of the screen here and come down. Pursuit was there, and they brought him down at the 6-yard line. Still 21 seconds left to go in regulation time. Big Red with their full complement of 3 timeouts. Now, Coach, if you're Whitehall, do you kick long here, or do you squib kick it along the ground?
Oh, no, I got to kick it as deep as I can get it because I don't know that they're that much better. This is a good kick team. The Rams are. Their special teams are excellent, and they give you good punt coverage, good kickoff coverage. I'd kick that ball into the end zone if I could get it there.
Here's what will happen. There'll be a 3-minute intermission, so at the end of regulation time, Coach and I will throw it to a timeout, to a break, and then we'll be back, and I'll explain the overtime period to you. But we'll find out what happens. There's still 21 seconds left to go. Jim Carter to kick off. We're tied at 6. There's Carter's kick. He squibs it along the ground, Coach. The kick is picked up by number 23. That's Todd Kelly. Kelly brought down at around the 30-yard line, it looks like. He's still fighting, but finally brought down there. The clock is stopped with 15 seconds left to go. Now you have to, if you're Big Red, come out immediately and come up to that line, or they'll start running that clock. And that'll end regulation, and we'll go into overtime.
They're winding it up right now. It's running down.
We're down to 10 seconds left to go in the game. On a pass of 5 yards from Jones to Soma with 21 seconds left to go. Nodianis gets one more play off. He's going long downfield for Murray. The pass is intercepted on the play by Mark Stewart. There's room to the line of three. Penalty flag is now down on the field. Now let's just sit here and sort all of this out. Stewart gets it back to the 41-yard line. John Murray is still down around the 35-yard line. We have a penalty flag down on the play. So sit on your hands for a second here and let's sort this penalty situation out.
But that's a flag.
Pass interference against the Rams.
That was a long coming flag. That was awfully late.
I would have to agree with you, Coach. I don't want to show any bias either way here, but Stewart had already intercepted the pass and was coming back upfield when they threw that penalty flag. So there's no time left on the scoreboard, but it cannot end on this penalty. So
Absolutely.
We'll see where they mark this penalty at. The flag was dropped at around the 38-yard line. They were at the 30-yard line where they started that drive. They're conferring right now with Big Red. Penalty would be marked from the line of scrimmage for 15 yards out to the 45-yard line. What this would do, though, Coach, is give you one more shot at it if you so desired. We'll find out what happens. The penalty brings the ball up across the 40 to the 45-yard line, and that's what will happen. Big Red will probably get one more shot here. There's no time left on the clock. We're tied at 6. Division II championship game. Whitehall came into the game 19th in the AAA poll in the AP, 13th in the UPI. Steubenville was 2nd in AA in both the AP and the UPI poll. Here we go. No time left on the clock. Nutianis going back to throw now. He's looking long again. The pass is tipped, but it's picked up on the play by number 86, and that is Matt Morrison, the tight end. He gets it down to the 40-yard line, and we'll make sure that the dust is settled, and we'll make sure that we are officially going to overtime here. Make sure there are no penalty flags down on the field. A very brief explanation is what will happen is each team gets the ball on the opponent's 20-yard line. You have a 1st and 10 from that position. You have a chance to try to score. One team gets that shot at their opponent's 20-yard line, then the other team gets it at that same 20-yard line, because that way if there's a wind advantage at all or any kind of weather advantage, each team is on the same end of the field. They do not move it one particular way. So we're in a 3-minute break right now. Coach and I will be back for overtime in just a moment. You're watching high school football here on Coaxial Communications. Overtime coming right up. Welcome back to Ohio Stadium, the Division II championship game between Whitehall and Steubenville. We're headed for overtime, tied at 6. And Coach, we touch very briefly on that overtime procedure. You get the ball 1st and 10 at the opponent's 20-yard line. You have your opportunity to score after those 4 downs. If you do not score or make a 1st down, then the other team gets the same opportunity at the 20-yard line, because that way if there's any weather problem or any field condition, no team has an unfair advantage in this overtime setup.
Right.
Recapping the scoring with 10:55 left to go in the 3rd quarter. A block punt. Johnson took it in for Steubenville. And then with 21 seconds left, the 5-yard pass from Jones to Soma. On the sweep, that's Overton. Overton from the 20-yard line gets it down to about the 18. A gain of 2 on the play. That'll make it a 2nd and 8 situation. And remember, you don't worry about the clock right now except the amount of time that you have, the 25 seconds in between plays. 2nd and 8, and we've got a penalty flag on the play. And we'll unsort that situation here in just a moment. Penalty on the play. The referee is Sam Fanstow. The umpire is Dick Zink. The linesman is John Houston. The line judge is Fred Church. And the back judge is Bob Norman. The penalty against Big Red takes it inside the 10-yard line to the 9. A personal foul takes it down to the 9-yard line. And that'll give the Rams now a 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Now remember, Big Red gets their opportunity from the same field position, the 20-yard line. Here we go. 1st and goal from the 9. Johnson and Overton in the backfield. The handoff to Pat Johnson. Bowls his way up to just about the 7-yard line. Give him a gain of 2. Make it 2nd and goal from the 7.
Well, they're going to use their ground game, it looks like, unless they have to put it in the air like that last situation. They had a decent running down to begin with, and of course a penalty at the end of it.
So far, Soma's catch would have to be the catch of the year. 2nd and goal from the 7. Johnson and Overton again split in the backfield. The handoff goes to Pat Johnson. Pat Johnson bulls across the 5. He's down to about the 4-yard line. That brings up a 3rd and goal situation now from the 4-yard line. And Coach, here's something you have to think about now. They mark it back at the 5. Let's make it 3rd and goal from the 5. If you don't score on 3rd down, the opponent's going to get the ball at the 20-yard line. In a different situation, you might think about going for it for 4th down here. But with Jim Carter as a fine field goal kicker, you might see the Rams kick a field goal on 4th down if they're stopped short here. We'll find out what happens.
If they have 5, they'll probably go for the field goal.
Jones rolls to the bottom of the screen. He's looking. He's going to keep it, and he's brought down at the 5-yard line, playing it safe there. Jones is brought down at the 5, and it looks like they might bring Jim Carter onto the field, and he'll be trying what will amount to a 22-yard field goal attempt now. Coach, he's kicking from the right hash mark. Stats for regulation look like this. 1st downs, we have the Rams unofficially with 10, Big Red with 6. Rushing yards, Rams 113, Big Red 108. Passing yards, Rams 61, Big Red 38. Total yards, 174 for the Rams, 136 for Big Red, but a timeout called by the Rams. There were players short on the field. fumbles. Rams fumbled 3 times. They lost 2. No fumbles by Big Red. Plays in this game. Big Red ran 50 plays. The Rams came on strong there in the fourth quarter, Coach. They ran 55 plays, most of them, I think, inside the 20-yard line there of Big Red.
Oh, yes, they certainly did. Looks like this field goal attempt's going to be, like you said, from the hash mark, 22 yards out. That's going to be, he's capable of that. We've seen him kick to, 36, 35
yards? The only thing you have to worry about with a slight soccer-style kicker is the angle that he's got to have. He's got to bring the ball back around and try to hook a little bit, kicking it from the 12-yard line, 22 yards away. Stewart now waiting for the snap. Let's see if, it might not be a bad idea to take a delay of game penalty here, perhaps to move you back 5 to decrease that angle just a little bit. We have a timeout called now by the Big Red of Steubenville. They take a timeout.
Well, on that in the overtime, I think each team gets an additional timeout.
Each team gets 1 additional timeout.
Yeah, and Whitehall has already used theirs now. They have no timeouts left, and of course, the Big Red hadn't used any of their 3 allotted for the half, so they have had 4 times out and decided to take 1 this time to put a little bit of pressure on the Whitehall kicker.
Gives Jim Carter another 60 seconds to think about this shot now. We want to thank everyone. We want to thank the production services director, Joe Tanzarello, and Bob Lyons for their fine job in today's game. We want to thank all the camera people, the crew that have made high school football what it is here on Coaxio Communications. Our thanks to everyone, the sponsors throughout the season, the support from everyone we've gotten, but most importantly, your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for calling and writing. Here we go. Carter now. From the 12, a 22-yard attempt, and Brian Young comes in unmolested. That's going to be a personal foul, I believe, against Brian Young. Came in and took a shot in there as he came charging through the line.
That's a double penalty. It's a 5-yard.
Our thanks to everyone, the sponsors throughout the season, the support from everyone we've gotten, but most importantly, your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for calling and writing. Here we go. Carter now. From the 12, a 22-yard attempt, and Brian Young comes in unmolested. That's going to be a personal foul, I believe, against Brian Young. Came in and took a shot in there as he came charging through the line.
That's a double penalty. It's a 5-yard penalty for the offsides, which should take it to the 2.5. And then on top of that, there's a personal foul, 15 yards. I don't know.
I haven't seen this many hankies since the last time I went shopping. Personal foul called on Big Red. The legal procedure call on the Rams.
They marked 5 against the Rams, then they marked the other.
They are currently spotting the 5 against the Rams. The illegal procedure, and now the personal foul will move it should move it back to half the distance of the goal, which is just about the same spot, which is all for naught, which will still put Carter at the 12-yard line and still make it a 22-yard field goal. However, it did make for some interesting entertainment.
I just hadn't realized that the Rams had a procedure penalty against them. All I saw was the offsides, of course.
Here we go. 4th and goal from the 5. Carter to try from 22 yards away. And once again jumping through is Brian Young.
That's going to make the angle more critical, so I don't know that that's any advantage at all for Whitehall.
Let's see if the Rams decline the penalty.
Unless they decide not to kick it and go for it.
Well, I don't know. The closer you put it in, I would think if you were kicking, you'd be more in line to declining this penalty because you're increasing the angle of the kick.
Absolutely.
I believe you'd have the option, so if you would have that option, it would seem like it would be a little easier to decline it if you've got someone who's a sidewinder like that and cut down on that angle a little bit. But they mark the ball inside the 5 to the 2.5-yard line. This is going to make Carter's attempt now a 19-yard field goal. Carter now from 19 yards out. The ball is marked just inside the 3-yard line. There's the snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And Whitehall takes a 9-6 lead. Now remember, it's not over yet. Big Red gets the ball 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, the same opportunity that the Rams had.
That young man just kicked a 52-yard field goal from the 19.
I think you're just about right, Coach. You know, we came here at breakfast time, and we might be eating supper here before it's all over. The lights are on here at Ohio Stadium. I tell you, we have a capacity of, 85,290, built back in 1922. but we still have a great crowd today. Nowhere near that, but they have seen an excellent defensive football game here today. Once again, Rams now on defense. Big Red has the ball. 1st and 10 from what is now considered the Ram 20. They have their chance now to try to score. That's Murray to the bottom of the screen. He's in motion to the top of the screen now. Shackelford is up there. The pitch goes to number 23. Sweeping to the 20. Down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line is number 23, and that's Todd Kelly. Let me mention now, too, if there's a turnover, the immediate change of possession ends this contest, and Whitehall would win by a score of 9-6. For example, if Big Red would fumble right now, if there would be an interception, any kind of turnover, this game would be over. Whitehall would be the Division II state champions.
No doubt about it. That's why they're hesitant about putting the ball in the air.
2nd and 6. The ball on the 16-yard line. In motion is Murray to the bottom of the screen. The handoff, working his way outside and brought down at the 12-yard line is Todd Kelly. Tackle made on the play by Tom Matevsky. Okay, while
Good
I have
defense,
the chance,
good offense.
let's talk about field goal kickers. Mike Corsi, I believe, has kicked 2 out of 2 attempts for Big Red this season, his longest being 26 yards away. Something to keep in mind right now as we look at a 3rd and about 2.5 yards to go for Big Red. That's Murray to the top of the screen. Julius Shackelford to the bottom of the screen. With Young and Kelly in the backfield. Murray in motion. The handoff across the 10, enough for a first down. Bowling his way inside the 5-yard line is number 23, Todd Kelly. Kelly has enough for a first down.
That was strong running by the young man, Mr. Todd Kelly.
And a reminder,
Good blocking by the forward wall also.
comes down to a field goal, and Big Red would tie it. We would go into another set of 2 possessions, 1 for each team, back again at the 20-yard line. We'll do that until this contest is determined or until Coach and I are eligible for Social Security. Here we go. 1st and goal from the 4. Nodianis has got Murray in motion again to the top of the screen. The handoff to the up back. That's Young, and Young is very close to the goal line. Brian Young gets it down to just inside the 1-yard line.
I think Jim Soma for the Rams thought that was a 4th down play. He didn't realize that you get as many downs as you need. After you've made the first down, you have 4 more downs.
2nd and goal now. The ball from just inside the 1-yard line. The Rams lead. We're in overtime by a score of 9-6, but a touchdown would give the title to Big Red. Let's find out what happens. 3 backs in the backfield. The handoff, it's kept by Nodianis, and Nodianis does not make it into the end zone.
He's in there pretty tight. He's only about a foot away.
This possession seems to parallel what the Rams did, getting it inside the 1-yard line. He's about at the half-yard line right now. Make it 3rd and goal from inside the 1. Remember, there is no clock running right now. The only thing you have to worry about is getting your play off in 25 seconds, and you get 1 additional timeout. Big Red did not use a timeout in regulation. They have used 2 now in the overtime period. They are down to 2 left. Whitehall has used their timeouts.
Oh yeah, Whitehall has none left.
So 3rd and less than 1 yard left to go. 9-6, Whitehall leads. There's a timeout on the field. And I tell you, Coach, we talked about a defensive struggle in the top of the game. We talked about how close it would be. It's a nice time to get your first overtime game, to come to the state championship. You don't get it in the regional, you don't get it in the semifinal game, but you get it in the state championship game.
Very climatic, very, very dramatic.
And I think we should say right now, a bit cliche, but no matter who wins this game, I think both of these teams have proven how strong they are, that the difference between these two are so slight. Both of these teams are champions.
Absolutely.
Here we go. 3rd and goal inside the 1-yard line. Nodianis now once again with Young, Kelly, and Johnson in the backfield. The handoff to the up back, and he's got a touchdown, and Steubenville Big Red are the Division II state champions. Listen to that crowd. You see the players congratulating each other on a fine game. Steubenville, Big Red, the champions in Division II. They win by a score of 12-9. They go to 13-0 on the season. The Whitehall Rams, nothing to be ashamed of. 12-1 on the season. What a game it's been. Back once again at Ohio Stadium, the final score, Steubenville beats Whitehall by a score of 12-9 in overtime. Coach, we talked about the strong defenses. It came down to that. You know, in that last quarter, we had a football game in itself.
Oh, we certainly did, Randy. We saw a football game played by two magnificently coached teams and with great talent from both squads. They took the ball game right down to the wires you'd expect from two teams coming in with 12-0 records. They did a magnificent job all the way through, even through the overtime, down to where Steubenville had the ball at the 20-yard line with their last opportunity, moved it in, scored, and they were crowned the champions. Well fought, well played. It's sad that someone had to lose, but you had to crown a champion.
And Reno Saccoccia said at the top of the game they'd have to play relatively error-free, and they only had one turnover unofficially in that ball game.
That's right, and that was great play by the linebacker in picking that pass off. Was it Stacey Evans?
Stacey Evans.
Did a great job. Quick hands, had to have quick hands because it was fired. So he did. He had one turnover, and that was all.
Neither team has anything to be ashamed of here. Recapping the scoring very quickly, 10:55 left to go in the third quarter. A block punt by Downer. Joe Johnson takes it in from 1 yard out. The PAT is no good. It's 6-0 Big Red. Then with 21 seconds left to go in regulation time, Jones to Soma from 5 yards. We're tied at 6. No chance for the PAT there. It was no good. We were tied at 6. We went into overtime. Carter kicked a 19-yard field goal to give the Rams a 9-6 lead. But then Big Red came back on a 1-yard touchdown run by Kelly, and they are the Division II state champions, winning by a score of 12-9. They go to 13-0 on the season. Whitehall 12-1. Coach, it's been a pleasure working with you all season. As we said, we came here at breakfast time, and we're leaving in time for supper.
Yeah, it was a fine opportunity for all of us. We enjoyed it. I'm sure that Hawk did too. He liked keeping the statistics. We wish it could go on through the basketball season too. Hope we can get at it again next year, Randy. It was a joy working with you.
Once again, our thanks to the Hawker, Dan Hawk, our statistician. Thanks to the entire Coaxial Communications crew. Thanks to our sponsors. And most importantly, thanks to you. For Coach Jim Anderson, I'm Manny Reinhardt. So long, everybody.